Oh, my bad.
You don't need to hear me to know that I'm waving at him.
Donde está la cocaína?
Oh.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to another week of Princess of the Apocalypse. I say we go ahead and get started, right? Yeah? Yeah?
Hello.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Hello.
Hello again.
Hola. Ciao.
Oh. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
I don't think they can
Oh,
see
God.
you waving.
Probably not. It's in spirit, though. They should feel it. They should feel it.
By they, I mean me, because it looks like there's only one person watching the
He
stream
just
right
started
now.
the stream.
So
Yeah,
you lied.
gosh.
You can't see.
No, I can see you on this screen in my
Yeah.
Discord. I can see
Yeah,
the
I
stream
can
on the
see
other screen.
Whoa, screenception.
That's just
Dun,
getting
dun,
specific.
dun.
Unnecessarily specific.
Parlez-vous français?
No.
Le capiche italiano?
Canadians. Anyway,
No.
Habla español?
who would like to get us started with our recap?
Senor Torren.
You just
Always
volunteer
me.
him.
I hate the picture
Always
you
me.
used for Wubba Lubba on your stream.
I love it.
It's so upsetting.
The friggin'
Oh, is it the Pathfinder one?
it's the goblin in the purple top
You have a
hat.
grin.
Oh.
What do you use for
Nimbus
Boris?
looks
I
like
need
a
to see
chick
that.
in that picture.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I knew it all along.
I used that
I
one
don't
for
wanna-
Boris.
Hey, that's a good one on me. Yeah.
Very Warhammer.
And I used
I haven't seen a Drums yet.
well, I wonder if it.
For reasons?
Let me see.
It
Let me
went
turn.
back to Wubba. Why didn't it?
Yeah, let me turn it off random, and that'll help.
Yeah, that is a super creepy Wubba.
I hate it.
Like,
There's Torin.
imagine that you're a poor little orphan. And they're like, oh, we got
It's
this cool
me.
place. Got a panda that's there. And then Wubba comes in.
Yeah, the
Come on
20
in.
ass strength. What the fuck?
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
his gloves.
Well, yes, I am a wizard.
The fucking
Yeah.
battle wizard. He's a battle wizard now.
He's one of the strongest people we have wearing cloth.
All right. So if it's me, it's Torin doing the recap, yeah?
Seems that way.
As always.
Can't break our status quo. Let's see where to start. Last session, we started off with Torin and Hira moving to the medical bay in... I don't even think we got the name of the plane we were in. I'll just call it the Thander's Crib. Where we had a nice little heart-to-heart with one another. Before the group comes together and attends a rebirth ceremony where we met with a lot of very important people. Can you call them people? They're people, right?
Odds.
They're above people.
I
Yeah.
guess.
I can't remember all of them. We had Merkel, Saloon,
Mhm.
Lathander was there.
Mhm.
There were two more.
Yeah, two more.
I got their descriptions down, but Torin didn't exactly recognize them.
He didn't tell us all of them.
Right, because
We
I don't
rolled
think,
crap.
I
Well,
don't
I
think any
rolled
of us
decent.
rolled super well.
I rolled decent,
Decent.
but I can only understand. I only knew like 4 of them.
Yeah,
Of course,
Uh,
I cared about one.
but
Merkel.
we stood before literal gods as Adram was given the spotlight by Lathander.
Yeah.
And then we got shoved down a hole. Or led down a staircase, same difference. And we woke up in Red Larch, in the Swinging Sword Inn. And I was in bed with somebody,
Oh no.
to my horror.
You ho.
It's not my fault. It just happens. I don't know how it keeps happening. But after waking everybody up, it turns out we were gone for a month. We were in Lathander's crib for a month on the material plane.
And it only seems like 3 days there. Yeah.
Yeah, just a few
If that.
days. If that. But while we were gone, it seems like the entire valley had been hit with tornadoes and wildfires, and those cultists were busy while we were gone. Uh, Unfortunately, we have no sign of our hippogriffs nor Murderface, much to Boris's detriment. Rage,
Dismay, rage.
dismay, that's the word. Um, so super early in the morning, nobody was into planning things because it was late and we wanted to sleep. So I made a list of things that we could possibly do and then went upstairs and tried to go to sleep. And then Hira had a massive fucking outburst. And then I drifted off. That concludes Torin's diary.
So are we
No, you
now?
You didn't start it out as Dear Diary.
Yeah. So
Doing that from now on.
please do. I want to have Torrens diary that you get to write every night now. That'd be so sweet.
Ooh, ooh.
So innocent. So lovely. But yes, so that's where we enter in the next morning. And you guys awaken to the sound of a warm and hearty breakfast. However, outside seems to be a little bit more of a hustle and bustle than you're quite used to. It just from without looking, it seems like everyone's out kind of early this morning. And so we return to Torin in his room, and everyone else kind of dispersed. Except for Adram and Hira, who are in Adram's room. So, what would you guys like to do waking up?
Am I alone?
Don't look like it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh.
she got up early.
Well, she took care of Torin first.
Your clothes are nicely folded on the nightstand next to you.
Well, he's got to get up and get dressed first.
That was nice of those little in Faye to fold up my stuff for me.
Oh.
Hmm. Well, I'll unfold the clothes, get dressed, and start heading out.
Okay. So, being the first out, what does Torin hear as he walks through the hallway? The rest of everyone.
From Boris's room, you might hear the sound of Iron Fang swinging, cutting through the wind as Boris does some practice.
Okay. So
Would we hear that axe though, or would it just sound like rapid movement?
It would just
I
sound
thought
like
it turned into a giant
like
greatsword.
it's a giant greatsword, but you just hear like the sound of faster than light or faster than sound, air breaking as Boris just cuts through the wind.
I feel like Kalessa probably had a like a training dummy in there for you.
Oh, it would be destroyed. But yeah, I'm just doing like sword kata kind of things. Walking through the room, pretending there's guys around me, cutting them to pieces.
Boris is in Hira's
Worst
room and
things.
just destroying it even more.
That'd be smart.
It
That'd be
can't get any worse.
That'd be hilarious. He's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I thought this was a thing.
thought we were
This is
destroying everything here.
Yeah, this is the trash room, right?
But yeah, so
I still can't get over how we headbutted the wall and all that. Solidarity.
So yeah, but as you guys are torn as you walk through, you do hear what sounds like hefty weapon swings. And Boris, while you're seeing as it seems like you've been up for a little bit, why don't you make me a perception check, please?
Boris and his poor sleep patterns. Even
Dang.
Whoa!
First roll of the night. Good shit.
It-
shit.
Boris can hear colors, dude.
So it seems only natural that you would or you would hear or be able to perceive this sound. So compared to the normal hustle and bustle of the town, you know, you're used to hearing horse or horse hooves kind of moving through the mud and dirt in areas, carts moving down the path, and people kind of talking. This kind of movement through the town sounds more like hundreds upon hundreds of footfalls, armored footfalls.
Oh. Oh. Oh, fuck. I don't know what that sounds like. I'm gonna stop my sword practice and burst out of my room.
Okay. So you as you hear a few softer footsteps coming down the hallway behind you, you burst out of your room and you see Torin kind of making his way back down. Zuya, Drum, and Hira.
I'm just watching the goings on outside.
So from your vantage point, you have a good view of the back garden. And today, why don't you give me a nature check? Fair enough. So, with as you're looking out the window, you see wind kind of moving past at a decent rate. Some black clouds kind of moving in, and also the crack of some thunder that seems quite a far off way in the distance. A drum, Hira.
Can I roll a perception to hear if I would hear the commotion outside, basically?
So I'll say you're just waking up. So yeah, go ahead. You're a little groggy still.
I'm going to roll a disadvantage.
No.
Don't worry, I'll take care of that. I'll roll crap.
Wow. So yeah, still being half asleep, it just sounds like kind of the regular hustle and bustle through the street.
Is Hira still sleeping?
Is Hira still sleeping?
As far as he can tell, yeah.
Okay. So let's get
Hello.
rid of...
He'll look down at her and he'll smile because she's sleeping, which when he was basically cursed, sleep did not come easily. So he's hoping that she got a good night's rest after destroying the room. He's going to get up and sit on the chair, wait for her to get up.
Okay. So that brings you Torin, Zuya, and Boris kind of making your way downstairs at the same time. And let's see, let me change this to
The screen go black, or did I screw up something?
It's probably because your character isn't down there yet.
yeah,
All right.
It's black for me because Hero's not downstairs.
that is why.
I
So, Boris here, or sorry, Torin and Zuya, what are you guys doing?
We're walking
I'm
in the
headed
to
stairs.
the-
I'll say good morning.
People are going to be seeing Boris in a more. Oh wow. a definitely more alarmed state than normal. In the sound of the movement I heard.
Okay.
Just going to alert everyone. The fact that there might be troop movement towards the town of Red Large. We should try to mobilize as soon as possible. We need to figure out what's going on.
So,
I heard something. I have a very bad feeling, guys. We need to figure out what's going on.
and Torin, as he
The safety of the town.
alerts you to this, you can make me a perception if you would like.
Sure.
There's also a storm coming in. Something's coming this way.
Oh,
Could be.
So gathering the
Storm's coming in,
information,
Annie.
gathering the information from Zuya and Boris, you walk over to the. You glance out the window by the stairs that points kind of towards the center of the town square. And you see several legions of armed guards. Only like these aren't relatively large legions. It's only about 20, 30 people per little group. And they all are wearing matching gold and silver armor. And if you want, you can make me it would probably be a history check to see if you for this. And you also look above the clouds and you do, or up in the sky, and you do see the storm kind of rolling in. Seemingly winds are blowing from the east. And with your history check, it's very easy for you to recognize that these are water deep infantry moving through town.
water deep.
It's not as bad as I thought, but that is bad if the water deep infantry's marching through town. We should see if they need any aid.
Shit, we've been gone for a month. We still don't know what's been going on. They might be here because of our absence.
Because of her absence, yeah.
Hmm. But no, you're right, Boris. We probably should ask.
With all of the natural disasters, they could be trying to take care of all the damage that's been wrought because of them.
Maybe. We'll never know until we get out there. Hold up, actually. Across the bar from us, that is the child from
The night
earlier
before,
in
yes.
the morning. Okay. Did I catch his? I don't think I caught your name, kid.
Sebastian?
Sebastian. Hey, Sebastian. Is that a normal occurrence, by the by?
He's gonna kind of glance back and forth between you and Boris, and shake his head no.
Gotcha.
We had heard
Right.
that there was, like, Calissa told me that there was going to be people coming into town. I didn't expect this.
Right. Was hoping for a better answer, but thanks anyway. Ooh.
Well, we need to get a drum and here and Wub and figure out and Nimbus and figure out what's going on.
Uh, I would yell, but that's not my style.
Don't you have the whispering whatever?
Didn't the
We
drum go
all have our
downstairs?
message pins, actually.
Ain't you buzz us on that?
Yeah, didn't the
Right.
drum go downstairs?
No, I'm sitting in the chair across the way from you.
Well, in her bed, Hera appears to be asleep, but she is actually awake, and she's deep in thought. And while she's laying there, she'd actually like to, she's kind of thinking the same things as last night, not as angry or throwing a bitch fit, but basically wondering, kind of like, why, Tadriel, why? And she actually, something Torn said to her the other day actually comes to mind about turning the tables, and she actually never occurred to her, but she's going to try and tentatively reach out to Tadriel.
Okay. So, I'll need a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage for that. Being it the first time you're trying this, and now with the as it's getting louder and louder in town, you're starting to hear it. the drum of feet moving through town. With your save, you kind of reach out for a moment, with the almost like starting to kind of focus in on the same spot that's where her voice tends to come from. You begin to push back in your consciousness, and for a moment, your vision blurs, and instead of looking towards the window of the swinging sword inn, you're looking into what could only be described as a volcano. Looking down and around, you see the bright golden armor that you're used to Tadriel donning. However, it's kind of draped in this dark, flowing energy that seems to almost like cover it up completely. And as you kind of continue just to try to hold on, you're forced out. And you're back in Red Larch.
Here's gonna sit up very quickly.
The drum's gonna come to as well. Just like grab the sides of the chair, startled.
She's gonna kind of come to quickly and kind of sit bolt upright in the bed and kind of look around. It's like looking very startled.
Everything okay?
She kind of doesn't answer at first, and she blinks a little bit, and she goes, "I need to talk to everybody." And she's gonna kind of get up and start headed out the door.
Okay. So as you kind of storm out,
Well, she's not storming out. She's just kind of with kind of urgency.
She stiff arms the drum.
Hmm.
It's like, I was waiting for you. Just blood pulling nose.
She's gonna grab a drum by the arm and drag him after her.
Okay, so
Good morning to you.
the two of you, as you're kind of storming down the hallway or charging down the hallway, I need you to make me a perception check, and I would also like Wub to make me a perception check. And Boris, as you hand this weapon over to Sebastian, he just kind of looks at you like, "What am I gonna use this for?"
Oh yeah, I just got my sound working. You said you
I
wanted
can't
me
hear
to
you,
roll
Boris.
a perception check.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
I was leaning the wrong way towards my mic
Okay,
because I was
thank you.
looking towards my
Sorry about
camera.
that.
Sorry.
You're good, bud.
My phone died, and while I was setting up the aquarium,
You're good.
everything's good, but the filter's busted, so not fully set up yet.
Oof.
That sucks.
Life.
So
Okay.
I'm basically going to tell before I realized I wasn't talking into my mic, as Kaylee pointed out. I was saying that I was giving the boy the axe to let him know that the world is a dangerous place and it's bad out there.
I don't think that went through, but it looks like I rolled a 10.
But for him to stay safe and that I would teach him more about weapons at a later time.
Oh, roll 20 didn't log me in. Let's try this again.
So, you would see this small interaction, and Sebastian kind of looks up at Boris, and takes a deep breath, and
the closest thing to a Boris apology.
And
Boris's Hallmark card.
mm-hmm.
I'm in. Nice. Okay.
And he kind of relaxes a little bit, and kind of as a gesture of friendship, he's going to bring out a large breakfast plate of food and a large tankard, and instead of putting it underneath the kegs that sit below the counter, he's actually going to pour in an entire bottle of liquor.
Oh.
Hira and Adram, as you charge down through, you are relatively distracted by Hero waking up this way and making their way through the hallway. However, you do notice that there's sound coming from Hero's room and silence in Nimbus's room. Wub, as you wake up, you actually kind of wake up in a start from the sound of heavy or hundreds of heavy footfalls moving their way, like getting louder, coming towards the orphanage. But as you wake up, you find that your coin that you normally keep in your pack is actually clutched inside of your hand.
What if there was sound coming from Hero's room? I probably would have stopped just to open it.
Okay, easy enough.
Can I do
It's
that?
still unlocked. Glancing in, you see Kaylessa cleaning up Hero's mess. She offers a small smile, and just tells you two to go on downstairs. Sebastian will have some food and drink for you.
As we're like
Kira actually stops in her tracks and kind of walks in the room, and she goes, "I'm really sorry, Kalissa. I'll clean it up. You don't have to do this. I'll pay for all of the damages."
It's the least I could do, hon. It is the absolute least I could do. I'm just glad you're back.
I'll be back up in a bit to help you, I promise. I just need to talk to the group real quick.
Okay. So
before Adram like ducks out of the way, like Hero will like walk by, he'll like peek his head back through and he'll be like, "I owe you one," and I'll just keep walking.
she kind of gives you a slight nod and just gets back to putting some things back together and putting the absolutely destroyed bed and bed frame into a pile in the corner.
Kira's gonna keep apologizing and saying she'll fix it, and that Kalissa doesn't have to do anything before finally going downstairs.
Well, Wub, you got everything set up over there?
Yep, I'm good.
Do you hear the little description that I gave you, sir?
I lagged out, but I believe because I was watching the stream, I was awoken suddenly, and I missed a little bit, but then I heard there are loud footfalls approaching the orphanage, and then
Yeah. So as you wake up, you hear several mini footprints, or footsteps, heavy, almost seemingly heavy armored, and they're approaching the orphanage, or at least coming in the direction of the orphanage. And as you kind of like get your bearings and sit up in bed, you notice that your coin is tightly held in your hand. And kind of looking around, Trush is off into his own room. There's not many children up and running around at this hour of the morning.
okay, so this is still fairly early, not too long after I initially went to sleep, basically.
So it's
Maybe like 2 hours ish.
it is dawn, or it's like right at the crack of dawn. So like the sun has come up, so you have gotten a decent amount of sleep.
Okay, I got you now. Nice.
But yeah, it's still relatively early. Some people would be up at this hour, like Gale typically gets up kind of early.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of walk. Well, I'm gonna get dressed, obviously, but I'm gonna exit my room.
Butt naked
just,
Wub.
Yeah, I'm picturing just Wub in like his jammies, holding like a little candlestick. You know what I mean, old Englishman style. But no,
Adram's gonna give you the
he's gonna
dagger
go
sheath.
out, and I guess I would approach like the main area where Galeker's office is adjacent to like the lobby area. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the bottom floor, and then my room is upstairs. I would kind of like go over there, and overlooking the lobby area has has the source of the loud noises entered the orphanage yet, or
No, as you kind of get up on your usual footstool that you have to get like nose and mouth level above the windowsill, and drinking some of your dark bean juice, you look out onto the street and on the long road that heads south out of the city, or of the town. You see several legions, only about 20 to 30 in size, marching their way through the town. And it's this kind of golden silver regalia with a familiar symbol. If you would like, you can make me a history check to see how well, or if you remember it right off the bat.
let's go +2.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You've seen it several times before, so I'll give you that. It reminds you of the emblem of the flag from where Torin or Torin said he's from.
Oh, the Waterdeepians. Or would it be like specifically the like wizard school?
It looks more like the Waterdeep
Okay.
Crown
The
Guard.
Waterdeepians.
Just for my clarity, but Waterdeep is where I recognize the symbol from. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um.
Still slightly scary.
Right.
I guess at that I would kind of very quickly I would go tell Gale what I've seen and that I need to report to my party. Then I'm going to quickly run up to my office, my private office, pick up our collections for the month. And then I'm going to take my little back exit out of my office and basically take the back way around to the Swinging Sword Inn, trying to avoid the massive army.
Okay. So,
As Wub comes in, Hira's gonna start speaking.
okay. So I'll narrate what he sees just a little bit. Again, you're kind of validating that this is a large military unit moving through town. Towards the south, you see a grand total of about 5 to maybe 6 or 7, and as well as some ballistas coming down through the back, being towed by less armored up men, but wearing the same similar tabard, as well as a few catapults. At least what looks to be the makes of these catapults are all kind of like broken down and put onto carts. And easily enough, you slip through unnoticed, and make your way into the Swinging Sword Inn.
Awesome. Scary, but awesome.
As Wub comes in, is when Hira addresses the group, and she says, "I'd like to apologize for last night, my friends. I think the events of the last, I want to say days, but it's been at least a month, have caught up with me. The truth is, I was planning to leave last night, before Drom came in, because I felt I was putting all of you in danger. Because, as some of you may have noticed," she kind of gives a nod to Torin and Drom, "Tadriel's not left me. She's still in my head, and I was afraid that this would put us at a disadvantage and would put you all in danger. However, this morning, something Torin said gave me an idea, and I realized that maybe there was a chance that we could use this to our advantage. And he was right. I was able to get a glimpse into Tadriel's mind just for a little bit. And I wanted to put the decision to you guys. Because I don't want to put you guys at risk. It's not fair to you guys. So I wanted to leave the decision to you guys whether you would like me to stay with the group or not. Because having me here, Tadriel will know our every move and all of our plans. She'll know everything we do, and she'll always know that we're coming. However, I may also be able to glean some of her plans. I'm not sure how effective I'll be. But I thought it only fair to allow this decision to be your own, since yours would be the lives in danger.
Undoubtedly, we want you to stay with us.
Wub just like runs up and like hugs your like leg and crying. You can't leave us. We love you.
Here kind of looks quite startled by the very immediate decision and outburst from Wub, and kind of like awkwardly pats him on the head.
Boris like
The-
crosses his arms. Goes, where do you think you're going?
To be perfectly honest with you, Hira, if Tadriel knows our every move now, she probably
Good.
knew our every move before.
That's the exact same thing I was thinking.
So,
But at least now we're aware of it.
right.
Regardless, I figured it was best to let you guys have all of the information before making your decision.
I know my jokes are not often taken very well, so this one comes with a disclaimer that it is a joke, but I could get inside of your head and get Tadriel out. But that's not what we're gonna do. Let's get Tadriel and get you out of her head. How's that work? If I take her head off.
Well, if you all are sure, and she kind of looks around, unsure at everybody
I
who
have a
hasn't
question.
spoken. What?
What happened when you got inside her head?
Well, that's what I was about to tell you. It seemed like she was in a volcano of sorts. I didn't get much. Like I said, it was my first time trying. But she was in some sort of volcano, which makes me think that her next stop is with the fire cult. So I think that might be a good place to start.
So if you were to leave us, then we lose all leads on where to go. So while you may seem, and I use that word very loosely, you may seem like a detriment to our party. You are one of the strongest links to our party. We're all strong links. We cannot lose you, Hira. We are all necessary for this party to work together. We are all integral in we are all needed for this party to work. You cannot leave us. It doesn't matter what she may glean from you, but I am sure we can work on making her not get stuff from you. I'm sure there's a way to shield her from seeing what's inside.
I don't know. I've never tried to keep anybody out of my head before. But I can try.
That's all you have to do. What's the harm in trying?
Like I said, I felt you guys should know.
I'm sure we're all thankful for that, but there's no way you're getting away from us. I'm sure I speak for everyone there that you're not leaving us behind. Even if you did, I'm sure we'd all track you down and we would be very unhappy if you left us without saying a word.
Family sticks together.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you're just gonna go, you're just gonna lead us in a different direction than we're going. So it's not gonna be any good. We're just gonna walk with you here.
We'll just follow.
I suppose I didn't realize you all thought so strongly.
Like I
Because
said
you
back
don't
at
talk
Lathander's
to us.
place, we're practically family already.
She smiles at that.
My goal when I left and I came back, my goal was to protect all of you. That's my goal. I don't see that as a job anymore because we are all family. It's not just a oh, I have to do this because that's my lot in life. You all are my family. You are all what I'm supposed to do. You are all who I want to be with.
And as you guys are speaking, and have you see Sebastian kind of standing, like
Poor Sebastian.
hiding underneath the the bar, and you just see his eyes are big and tearing up, and like he's just sitting there watching, like this is oh
Soap
my,
opera.
and he's just,
This is big shit for that poor little kid.
and whenever he like pokes his head up after you guys kind of trail off and like look at him, he's like, don't mind me, I'm just, oh, it's so beautiful. This is like some of the books my mom reads to me. You will have an happy ending. You will have a happy ending.
Well, thanks for jinxing it, asshole. No.
Why is that kid so big? He's bigger than all of us.
He's kind of hefty.
He's the fat kid.
He's been
Of the
fucking
town?
training his whole life
Uh,
for one thing.
see,
eating contest.
he's young, so his parents don't really.
Oh, his picture. He is a fat kid. If you zoom in on him.
He
He's one of the he's a
He's cool.
throwbag, but not
He's a
all
little
the.
when and you he is a little on the rotund side, and the reason, or you can gather just that Kelessa doesn't really pay him financially. She just lets him eat as much as he wants, and there is no, hey, it's probably not a good idea for you to keep going.
Well, Hira looks a little uncomfortable /
Food here
embarrassed,
is good, so.
but she says, "Well, that decided, I think I owe Kalessa a new room," and she's gonna start retreating back upstairs.
Hold it real
You
quick.
should
Good
eat
luck.
first.
Have you seen what's going on outside?
What's going on outside?
There's a big
Oh.
army going through town.
What?
Pointing towards the window.
She's gonna run towards the window.
Yeah.
I thought
They're from Waterdeep, I think.
They are.
She's gonna run towards the window and frown.
Yeah, and at this point, as you're looking, it's been enough time, and
They have surrounded the building.
no, actually,
we-
they're moving. At this point, the ballistas and broken down catapults that Wub saw as he's moving or coming into the tavern seems to be the tail end of it. So here, as you're watching, you're actually looking as they're already made it through town and they're heading more and more southward, and with.
I think we need to talk to Kalessa again. She didn't mention this last night.
I saw a lot of the destruction from town last night, and it looked like it went from south to the northeast or the northwest. Sorry. I couldn't tell if it started in the south or in the north, and it looks like it started in the south, 'cause
So you remember that, yeah, the destruction or the hurricane looked like it was coming from the south to the northeast, or at least the large trench. Or did I get it backwards? I think I'm getting it
I'm
backwards.
pretty sure
I
that's
thought
what
it
you
was from
told
the
me. I
south.
just couldn't remember exactly.
Hira's gonna tell the rest of the party, "I'll be right back," and she's gonna go to fetch Kalessa.
Yeah, destruction moves from southern side to northwest side.
Yeah. So running upstairs, Kilessa's kind of getting done with, or she looks like she's kind of taking a break. She does have some sweat on her brow and all that, but you find her in the hallway, standing next to Nimbus's room, and she's sitting there knocking, trying to get him to answer.
Kalessa, why didn't you tell us there was an army coming through town? What did we miss?
I mean, I told you what you. She's gonna kind of put her hand on her head or on her face and like, that's right.
What's that one thing?
Before you say anything else, I think the rest of the group should hear this, and she's gonna motion for her to come with her.
Right. So she comes down. and she's gonna immediately like make her way back behind the bar, and pull her into her own office, which really is just a corner of the kitchen, and is gonna come back with this peach of like folded but like it previously was folded parchment, and she's gonna hand it out to Hira.
What's in it?
I'm reading 1 second.
Whoopee cushions. Thousands and thousands of whoopee cushions?
That's
It
the
seems to be
advertisement for the clown college. Flip it over to
no,
the
it
other
seems to
side.
be the air cult is a lot more nefarious than we thought.
No.
Careful, I've heard that they can be silent but deadly. Okay, I'm done.
You are such a dad. Oh my god.
It's for my drink and it's gone.
Um,
I'm very sad.
Howie.
in coming in, yes, or reading it or reading the parchment, it's a very. It looks like a very generic notice, basically stating that a army of Sandpoint is Sandpoint,
Wow.
Whoa,
Water-
crossover.
Waterdeep is going to be moving through Red Larch on a date very close to yours. It seems like it's like 2 or 3 days early, but and it doesn't give a distinct point of arrival, but it does describe that, or that there is going to be someone, or there's going to be a group coming through.
I guess it would be too much for him to put Y on the piece of parchment.
Yeah, I think we should go catch up to that army real quick. We need to see where they're headed.
Yeah.
She's gonna start booking it towards the door.
Get your stuff, get your gear. We gotta go.
Here is butt naked, or she's in her nightgown. Hira. You
She's
didn't
in
get
her-
it.
I
She's
mean,
wearing
she
her
just wants to know
battle
where
dress.
they're going. If it takes the time to get dressed, the army's already gonna be gone. It's gonna be harder to catch up.
But they'll leave enough tracks that they'll be easy enough to follow.
That's
I'll
true.
I'll send lifestyle. Oh,
That's true. I guess it's not that urgent. Armies move very slowly, especially ones with seemingly having siege equipment, ballistas and such. So
Adram's gonna step outside and try the hippogriff wrestle.
Animal
See if
handling.
anything pops up.
ooh, can Hero try too?
Sure, give me an animal handling, and I'm assuming that Wub will probably follow out. And if you want to give me a survival check, or to see,
Of course, I'll follow outside and just start screaming murder face at the top of his lungs.
animal handling check.
And like almost crying. Please be a nat 20.
Murder,
Please be a nat 20.
Wow.
Answered from halfway across the world.
And just like
My
that,
father, he returns.
Boris summons Murderface from the depths of hell himself.
Wow. Okay.
I just want you to know, I don't know why, but for some reason, I've started to give Murderface, I cannot remember what he calls it, but you know the gargoyle thing in Futurama that the professor creates?
Yes.
Now he has like that weird Dracula accent. That's
Pazuzu.
basically how Pazuzu. That's basically how I picture Murderface, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah,
Pazuzu.
master. It's all
I gotta find
creepy
it.
and fucking deep, fucking gristly voice.
Okay. So,
Oh wow, already 2 nat 20s?
I want to
Congrats.
know it too.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
I asked for this one and turned around as I rolled because I didn't expect it.
Good stuff, man. Wow.
I was expecting to see like 7.
Hmm.
And like, oh, Boris, you lost your voice. But no, nat 20, wow. So they're
Yeah.
screaming.
Murderface could hear you anywhere.
so, you
Father calls me.
You shout loud enough that it echoes through the entire town. People that have kind of made their way and made their way out of the way for the army marching through. You see them, their heads kind of turn and look at you for a moment, and then just shrug it off and begin walking away. Wub, you find very distinct footprints and tracks. Like, you feel like, at least in this portion and Foron a little bit, especially when the rain starts coming in, and the ground is already seemingly a little damp, you feel like you're not going to have any problems tracking this for a couple miles.
Easy day. Noise. Locked and loaded.
So, and it's at this point that, let's see, Boris, Adram, Wub, and Hira are the ones that ran outside, leaving Zuya and Torin inside. And the two of you kind of glance back and forth between the two of each other, and then the four that ran outside, you're noticing that there is a missing party member.
Nimbus?
Yeah.
Nimbus just had a really bad hangover from that.
That's what I assumed.
From that beating of Hira's room the other night. You know?
Nimbus didn't even wake up for that.
Check literally every
Check
room.
to
He
see
could
if
be with
Nimbus is
anyone.
still alive.
So,
Checked.
If nothing happens outside, then Hira would go back inside.
You guys wait for about 5 minutes, enough time for Torin to go upstairs and see Kaelessa has kind of restarted on putting together Hira's room. And you kind of, or you knock on the door to Nimbus's room, Torin, and that's when she kind of steps out and she's like, he's not there. She's gonna pull a key out of her pocket and is like, I already checked.
What? Where the hell could Nimbus have gone?
What was that door? What was that one dwarf? He was,
Was
I'd say
a
that's
halfling.
concerning, but Nimbus has a habit of moving off.
Wandering off in the middle of a battle.
Force coming around.
Next question is, does it have anything to do with the army that's outside?
Aside from Wub's people, a lot of the short people.
All right. There's a lot going on. Arba came through town. I had a vision of a volcano, and Nimbus is missing, but I need to get dressed and eat something.
Okay. So you can't by the time you charge through, come or go through the inn, that's
Why
when
I'm charging. Making here sound like a bull.
you are a bull.
No, Hira's never charged it to anything ever. She's always thought things out well and never ever did that. Here's a blind bull in a china shop.
You making
on
it sound
roller
like
skates.
she's just like a linebacker and just like chucking people to the side, left and right as she makes.
Chairs are falling over as you're going through. Yeah, basically. But yeah, as you make your way upstairs, you kind of you meet Torin on the stairs as he is coming down.
Nimbus ain't there. Donna.
Where the hell could Nimbus be?
Anywhere.
I need a bath. I need to get dressed, and I need breakfast. She's gonna just kind of keep going upstairs.
Bloodbath.
So, Torin, you're now back downstairs with everyone minus Hira. Oh, let me put Wub on the map. My bad, dude. Oop, there he is. Down in the corner.
Yeah.
Whoop, there he is. Whoop, there he is.
I'll come walking back over to the bar. But while I was upstairs, I would have grabbed the rest of my stuff,
Okay.
including my nifty new cane.
Looking very dapper.
When did you have the time to grab that?
It like
From my room?
Said it's a new cane.
Yeah.
Josh, here, you're taking a bath.
No, don't worry. Yeah, it'll be fine. It's a
Drum-
surprise.
Drum's going to take a plate of food and sit down at the table and invite anyone else to join him if they want to.
Stole my spot. I see how it is.
You're not
Oh.
I didn't know
there.
there were assigned seats.
I don't want to
isn't.
John to
Oh,
look
yeah.
like a nerd, because that's me. So I'll go sit
Listen,
over with him.
he
While
can't
we
look
are
like
all
a
here
nerd.
together,
He's wearing
Um,
he's wearing all white Lathander looking sexy things with a hood up still.
When did he
And
have time to get dressed?
while he was waiting 70 years for you to not be asleep.
Listen, she had a rough night. She was
I
so
get
deep
it.
in thought.
He was
We
just
all
like, you
had
know
a
what?
rough night because someone decided to destroy her room.
She's
She's
having
just-
an existential crisis.
She's sleeping there. I'll get dressed and I'll wait. I don't want to leave. That way she wakes up and thinks, oh great, now a drum left me. So I'm like, I'll just chill. You know, played a little bit of angry birds or angry hippogriffs, and got dressed. And he's got the white regalia that's got the Lathander thing. He's got a bright looking holy symbol that looks like a little crest of
Where's everybody's
Lathander.
new shit just popping into existence from?
Got its white
To a
hood up,
nerd.
and he's just chilling,
while
eating
we are all
brekkie.
here together, Wub is going to start basically counting through a large sack of what sounds like coins, and he's going to start handing everybody 2,800 gold.
Whoa!
That's your profit, Wub?
Well, with all the weird time stuff that's been happening lately and whatnot, I guess the kingdom pays for like how many orphans we have. I'm not sure, but we make a lot of money, and we weren't here to collect it.
Sounds like a
It
tax
pays
credit.
for how many
each-
orphans you
We
have?
each
you
get
son of-
IRS
2,800.
about to be knocking on my door.
We each
2,800
get
apiece.
2,800.
Yeah,
2800.
yeah.
Each?
Yeah.
Wait. This is... Say that
When the
Yes.
IRS comes knocking on my door, I'm pointing them at Wub.
Well, that's a lot of. You know how to count, right? I don't mean to be disingenuous, but that's a lot of money.
Is it?
Could some of this be used for the orphanage?
Well, it already was, since we weren't here. They used what they needed for the orphans, and then already left some for the orphanage because I've got to take care of my kids.
Well,
That's very sweet of you, Wub.
we have been gone for a month and some time, I guess.
So for the DM's purposes, although it's not going to take into effect anytime soon, I left 1,000 gold there for the orphanage, to be specific, and I kept, after all of this is said and done, well, once I give Hera her share of the gold and then Nimbus his share of the gold, then I will have 2,600 to myself. But I just wanted you to note for the DM that I'm leaving 1,000 for the orphanage. Mainly for furniture, clothing, same as always, stuff for the orphans.
Astronomical. What the fuck?
I don't even know what I can
Don't ask
spend
questions.
on. Like
2800.
I didn't know that they would pay me to take care of the kids. I just wanted to help, and now I can help them even more.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said that for a split second, the thought occurred to me to leave. and just
Please don't.
I,
He gets really
I
sad.
can't.
Well, I can't.
I can't.
Wub's just very excited to hear that. Obviously, not paying attention to how objectively how shitty that is. You know what I mean?
the drum's gonna swallow the bite of bagel that he had and be like, "Well, I got an idea. What if we build a second story on top of that orphanage? Can house a bunch more orphans, in case there is some, and we can have a
32
playroom
stories.
and
We're
stuff
gonna
like
need it.
that."
Make it
But
4
why would there
stories.
be
How about
more?
that?
We want there to be less
Guys.
orphans. I want them to get homes and be taken
Well,
care of.
I mean, in case there's
Every
orphans
orphan
out
has their
there,
own room.
any orphans out there that there's not enough room for them, we'd be able to have more room, and we can have like a
Find
playroom.
orphans in new towns. I can make a
Orphan
Kenai's
chain?
kids care in Waterdeep.
I would like to
And I can go kill more cultists and
Oh
leave
my
more
God.
orphans.
Is
Please
Hira
no.
back downstairs yet?
Yeah. By this
Alright,
point,
she'll-
here does
she'll-
make her way back down. However,
She's
again
gonna
without
show up
Nimbus.
right when Boris is like, "I'm gonna kill a bunch more cultists, making some orphans."
What's going on there?
Step 3, question mark. Step 4, profit. And Boris is gonna hold up his pile of money. Be like,
Whoa,
remember those
where'd you
orphans
get
I
that?
brought
Where the hell did you get that, Boris?
Remember those orphans I
Walt
brought?
rushes over and just gives you like a big old sack of
Remember
2,800
Christmas
gold
when I
coins.
killed
Where'd
those
this come
kids'
from?
parents?
Well, we apparently, with all the weird time stuff that's been happening lately, we've been gone for a long time, and we somehow missed a lot of time, but came back for Christmas with all the stuff. Apparently, the kingdom pays me for my orphanage now, and this
is your money.
No, this is our money.
It's
I
very
couldn't
kind
have done
of
it
you,
without you.
Oh. Hira's gonna count out a little bit of the money, and she's gonna go find Kalessa again, and she's going to hand her 200 gold for the damages to the room.
So at this point, she's kind of like, or she's sitting down at the table with everyone in Nimbus's normal spot. In between, at this point, it would be Zoya and Torin. And as you kind of slide it over to her, well, it's actually a gold bin. But yeah, she's gonna, like, as you slide the gold over, and she's gonna look at you with her jaw dropped and be like,
Please, I insist. You've done so much for us, and all I've done is destroy one of your rooms.
I can't accept this from you, no, like, especially.
Of course you will.
What put all of his work and his life into this orphanage? I couldn't accept any profits
If you
from
don't
it.
accept this, she'll destroy another room.
Please, I need to feel like I'm doing some good right now.
To be honest, I was gonna give her some money too. To cover.
So
Here is just
I think Torin's giving her everything she wants. My man.
she will turn a little pink and
That's
just like
a baby.
quickly quickly change the topic. Like, fine, I'll
for a high five.
I'll take it.
Boris high five Kalessa.
You know, it's just in advance on any other rooms I may tear up, you know?
Please don't destroy another one.
I don't plan on it, but you might want to watch out for Boris.
Oh, with this, and she's gonna look at the gold that you just handed her, and she's gonna. I'm probably gonna steel plate his room. And maybe move the bed out and just give him, like, practice dummies.
I don't need a bed. I just need a
You just
blanket.
need the hard floor.
Yeah, really, I just need a blanket. I don't really even need a blanket. I got a really nice cloak. I don't need a bed or anything. Just
Noted. I would much prefer if I at least had you on some sort of bedroll. But and
I mean, you can leave it in there. I'm not opposed to the bed, but I'm not saying if you want to take it out for safety or if someone else needs it, go ahead.
And so at this point, you know, you guys have probably made it halfway through your meal, and you know, kind of or through all of this, just want to say, or like I said, you guys kind of made it through halfway your meal. You got maybe eating fast, probably about 10 more minutes. Anything you guys would like to do?
Something everyone's done and ready, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think now would be a good time to
this
try and
army.
catch up to that army.
Okay.
I would say,
How-
well, we'll begin tracking them, but I mean, it's pretty clear, follow the path due south.
Anybody else see how serene Bort was?
Totally.
Yeah.
He's-
He
He
was
was like,
he's
oh
chilling,
yeah,
man.
I'm totally relaxed.
look at
Oh,
him.
stretch. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the spot. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's it. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. He
What
wouldn't
did
know.
you
How
do that
big did
for?
my goodberry tree get, by the way?
So as you kind of
Because it's been a month
as you
plus.
make your way out of the Swinging Sword Inn, and so you come out on the south wall, into that what looks to, or standing in front is the gate kind of, and to the east is that kind of awning that you can walk under, and then to the west, right by the door, is your elderberry tree, and it is standing probably about 18 feet tall at this point.
Jesus.
This thing grows quick. There's it looks like with the wind blowing in, you can see several small berries that are getting close to being ripe. It seems like it goes through a cycle per day to produce these berries. And anybody wanting to help Wub kind of navigate this
Hero will make
tracking?
a path for him.
Okay, so you can either you guys got two options. You can either let Wub roll with advantage, or you can roll yourselves your survival checks.
Oh,
Wub
I
can roll
rolled
with
myself.
advantage.
Okay.
I rolled myself.
Okay,
Help.
so Zuya goes off one way, and then Wub, you can roll with advantage with Hira kind of pushing everyone out of the way.
I trust
So
Wub
shift click?
in the outdoors.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah, shift click.
Oh, that didn't work.
Just roll a second time then.
And then it worked that time when I didn't mean to. Whatever. I
Rip.
still rolled an 8 on the first one.
So, not used to,
Trust
or
Wub.
Wub, you're still a little taken back by the large amount of footprints that are now on the ground, and especially with the storm coming in, there's loud cracks of lightning that are crashing around, but you're still able, especially with Zuya, taking up point and leading through or down southward on the long road. It's very easy to for both of you to pick out your path and make your way all the way outside of Red Larch. Moving at a brisk pace on foot at this point probably takes no more than 5-6 minutes. And that'll bring you to... Let's do this one. And you guys can move your tokens back over Red Larch. And you guys make it.
I found a Nimbus token, but I can't find a Wub token.
We found Nimbus.
There he is.
Nimbus was way down
Way
south
down to
by
the south.
Amphale.
Nimbus, you son of a bitch. Get back here.
You drunk son bitch!
Goodbye.
Stop
Oh
streaking.
god, now I can't see shit!
Let me give you a token.
I didn't realize I had sight from Nimbus as well too. As soon as you took off Nimbus's token, I had it's all bit black and white.
Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Quickly, you guys are pretty easily able to, you're moving faster than this Legion, because Hero was right early or before with the catapults behind and the ballistas behind. They're moving at a slower, easy march pace rather than even just a normal walk or a brisk jog. So within about 30 minutes, you're able to catch up to a point where they're at least within shouting distance.
It's not going to be me.
What do you say? Hail? Hail!
Wait,
Oi!
I'm more of an oi
Oi!
person.
I like that
Oi.
one.
So
Greetings!
Gets attention.
Hail!
Hearing the loud shouting behind one of the four, that's pushing the one of the catapult carts, is going to kind of like glance back and then realize that it's a group of 6 people talking to him or talking to them. He's going to kind of stop and scratch his head and then look and jog in the opposite direction, leaving the carriage and make his way further down the line. And
I was gonna look at Boris. Boris, you're still naked.
as you guys begin to like kind of like continue to shout and make your and jog down, you guys get to probably about 50 to 60 feet back, and that's when you see the same person eventually round around the group that he was with and start jogging down the road back towards you guys. And in seeing you guys are jogging towards each other, it's only going to take a few minutes before you get within at conversation distance. And he's going to kind of stop in his place and eye each of you and yes?
Well met.
What's going on here? We saw you
Hello?
from town.
He's going to look back and we're marching.
You're from Waterdeep.
Where
We're
to?
friends. Don't worry.
Where are you marching to?
If you will, make a persuasion check, Boris. And you can do it at advantage with Hira helping you.
I wish I could have made that persuasion check. That's performance, not persuasion.
Oops.
He just starts dancing.
He starts
He's
doing
like,
it.
He's like, hold on a second, let me just do
Maybe
a
this will
sausage
change your
dance.
mind.
You ever seen a
my,
professional
D&D
codpiece?
He starts doing a sick jig.
My D&D
Refreshing.
Beyond does. Okay, yeah. There's a blind beholder here. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna take this one.
Yeah, I just air it out.
Is there out for you too?
No, that's what happens when you get aired out.
Air 500.
Me or Hira persuading
I
and
roll?
intimidating are
Sure.
very helpful.
Reported.
I just want to roll.
Let's see if it does that again. Okay.
I'm rolling absolute trash today.
Never mind.
So,
Today's the day I will die.
he ends up stopping and just kind of, I believe I've heard of you lot.
Oh, we're famous. She kind of looks around at the group in surprise.
Right, we've been told about a roving bunch of do-gooding adventurers kind of sniding at the word a little bit and just and he kind of gives a weird eye to you guys, and we're moving southward for some ways and then making our way across the Dasarian River to Ironford.
What's happening in Ironford? I apologize. We seem to have been out of touch for the last month.
Yeah, it seems that way. In about a month, there's been threats of an attack. And we're
kind of
going
an
to
attack?
we're on our way as reinforcements. We're not sure. All we know is
You said they were headed where before Ironford?
south, or they're heading southward until they meet the road that veers off towards the east, and make their way to Ironford.
Okay, so they're just heading to Ironford.
Right.
Sorry, just for notes.
Yeah, crossing the Dissarian River.
It's a small homestead from one of the wealthier people in Waterdeep, and they've apparently received a missive. I don't know all the information, and nor do I know why we're going to defend a farmstead. It seems like a waste of resources if you ask me, but I'm not the one that makes these decisions. And he has a lot of as he's saying this, he has kind of a I guess the best way to say it is a snide kind of mentality, in what he's saying.
He doesn't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sad about it.
He thinks we're a bunch of troublemakers, and it's none of our business.
Well, he can fuck off.
What?
Here kind of frowns and goes and kind of turns to the rest of the group. Well, I know we talked about heading to Feathergale or Waterdeep, but I suppose this opens up a third option for us. What do you guys think?
How big is this army?
Grand total about 150 people.
That's tiny.
Well,
Yeah.
That's a good amount.
But it's a
Seems-
farmstead, so and they're
I would say
reinforcements.
it seems like this is well in hand compared to some of the other places we have to go to that could have nobody heading there.
Well, I feel like it might be a great help to have our griffins with us no matter where we go.
Well, we can check back at Feathergale and see if they're
So I
Never
was
trust.
thinking, I feel like
They
if we
will-
make the trip to Feathergale, and if we still want to go to the homestead, we can still make it there probably before them.
yeah. Most likely our griffins flew back to Feathergale once we were not around for that long, so we can check back in, see if they're still
Feathergale also
ami-
might have more information.
still
You know, they have
amicable.
agents all around the region. I'm sure they might have some more information.
Well, I can also fly someone to Feathergale, and while some of us follow this group, and then we can fly back if we wanted to really do that.
Oh wait,
don't-
yo,
we don't-
remember forever ago when we found there were some symbols that we found that linked to the Feathergale were trying to unite all of the cults.
It wasn't directly linked to Feathergale. It's just they had a air symbol, or what appeared to be an air symbol, and
They
we were
had
assuming.
symbolism of the cults that seemed to, and they seem to be the ones responsible for the cults coming together. Or maybe that's
We don't
just
know
Morris
that.
being crazy.
That's that's
that
what
could
we
just be. That might just be my.
What it seemed like is that there was a small group of people within the Feathergale Spire, whether they infiltrated it or whether they were already there, who are
They were
part of
using the
cult.
Feathergale to. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
We-
it seemed like. Because
we had
remember
no
the guy,
confirmation. We were
yeah,
just
the guy
guessing.
who was in charge of the equipment, he said this person signed in here and got this stuff, but I don't know who this is. I don't
Yeah.
know. A lot of people come through here, so it seems like Feathergale
Right,
itself
yeah.
isn't responsible, but there might be members within who are involved with the
They were
cults.
just overall kind of sketchy. So
I say
Well-
we go to Feathergale together because we don't know what we'll see. Last time we went to the water place together, and everyone was gone, and it led onto this huge journey. So we shouldn't split up. We'll go to Feathergale,
it's not
check
split.
in, and then ask if we can get some more griffins or hippogriffs.
I'd
and
like
then-
Freya back.
We can decide on there whether we want to go somewhere else. We might get more information, or if we can go up to the homestead. How far away is the homestead?
Kind of
I'm
turning,
guessing it's here.
kind of turning back. He's gonna,
Oh, he's been eavesdropping.
Well, I would have.
Well-
I was asking Kyle
Yeah.
meta-wise, but if that was the case, I would have turned to him and been like, "How far is the homestead you guys are marching?"
we've got probably another day's worth of journey. Maybe two, depending on how fast we can. And he gestures back and realizes how far away he's starting to get, and he just kind of, well, thank you, and
Well,
takes off.
perhaps
Gone.
we'll
Good
see
luck
you
in
there.
yours.
You kind of just shout back, and he kind of does a turn wave thing and hurries off.
Lathander's blessings to you.
What an odd fellow.
Literally who?
Oh,
Everyone
He
knows
was
who
nice.
Lathander is. Shut up.
Uh,
I say we go to Feathergale.
Me too.
Together.
Merkel will have
Together.
fun with him.
agreed.
Yeah.
Especially since it's right over there, and he like points to the far distance.
Yeah, and you
He
see,
was
like,
nice. He called us good adventurers.
I don't think he liked us very much.
You're
He
making
said
it. You're making it big, Wubba. You're making it big.
and yeah, as you do point over a drum, you do see, you can,
Murder face in the distance.
you
He's
see
getting closer.
the top of the tower above the,
Higher.
yeah, you see the top of the spire of the, kind of breaching over the hills. And you do continue to see the and at this point, those black clouds have made their way above your party. And it's earlier as you guys were kind of walking, and the rain was starting to slowly kind of trickle down, and by this point, it's getting pretty heavy.
Wonderful. Let's get to stepping.
Okay. Well, are you guys gonna try to like make your way around Red Larch, or are you gonna travel through and use the paths?
Is the large path quickest way through? Whatever the like most efficient way.
Yeah,
Would like
would
to
say.
try to use the most efficient way, but also if it happens to like go through the forest or something like that, because of my favorite terrain, once we've been traveling for an hour, difficult terrain won't slow us down a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff, so it'll like help
I
speed
can't
us
tell,
up.
but I can't tell by the map. The large path that's going through like rocky hilly area or something, or what?
Right.
Terrain?
It starts out with in kind of plains area like you guys are in throughout the area. And then
Wasn't
soon
sure if
up
that's going
it starts
up
up
or down.
on an incline and goes up into the mountain area. Or it's more of like it's not so much like mountains, but like tall rolling hills.
Yeah.
And right now we're headed towards Ampale, the south.
Yeah, you were heading that way when you were following the army.
Nice.
Well, maybe let's stop back through town, stock up on supplies, because we don't know if we'll be able to come back here
Yeah.
anytime soon. We might have to go straight from Feathergale to somewhere else.
Okay.
If everybody agrees, I don't want to just like take over.
That's an excellent idea here. We really should stock up on things before we take off.
I'm pretty sad.
We should try to make it quick. Well,
Well, we have a whole
some
bunch
health
of new
potions and other
money.
stuff wouldn't be too bad.
We got a whole bunch of money now. I wouldn't mind going for some potions or something.
here,
A little meta,
What are you gonna
but
do for a weapon here?
Hira, I believe healing scrolls could also super benefit you.
Healing scrolls?
Yeah, because you do have to have the proficiency of the.
It allows you to use a bunch of healing spells that you would already be able to use, but you're not
Oh.
expending your own spell slots for them.
Ooh.
Somebody basically already expended a spell slot or two making the scroll. It's a weird process, but
Good idea.
as
That
long
would-
as you have the connection to that type of magic, you can cast it. Which I
Well-
didn't know that until playing 5e. Scrolls are actually pretty badass for magic casters.
Alright, let's
Hira, what are you gonna do for a weapon?
A little meta
well,
tip.
Torn mended my halberd, so I suppose this will do.
If you will,
I wasn't sure that was
Hira,
that was-
make or
Lathander will provide.
as you kind of look around, you've realized that, or the halberd strapped to your back looks insanely different than before.
She kind of does a double take. Kind of
Well, if
takes it out slowly, examining it.
if you need someone you can trust to take care of it, I might know somebody. Gale
I-
seems to know a lot of people who can do a lot of stuff.
She kind of looks at a drum. I think it might have already been taken care of.
I told you, Lathander will provide.
Did you plan that?
He's gonna wink with that classic smirk thing that Kaylee doesn't understand what I mean. I can do it like this, like.
No,
Yeah.
you use smirk both as like a grimace and as a smirk, but grimace is very different, and you use the
But a
word smirk.
drum uses smirk and grimace is the same thing because that's who he was. That's exactly they're synonymous to him. But now not. Now it's like a smile.
Well, that just makes him look like an asshole.
Wow.
If you smirk in a grimace situation, you kind of look like an asshole.
Lathander will provide.
Kyle, I need to pick up a very specific spell component.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it would be available here in Red Larch, though.
Well, I suppose we're dispersing on
Gale
our
Crew
errands.
will provide.
Quickly,
Maybe
yeah.
let's meet back at
Gale
the
Crew
inn.
will provide everything we need.
But
Maybe
Drum's gonna hand Wubba his architectural plan, and it's posted.
What do we
in
think?
Discord.
How much time we think everybody will need? An hour or two? Because I'd like to get going today if we can.
Yeah, let's get going soon, but
Then we can meet back up in like the main furrowway here.
Okay. And so Torin, as you make mention of this need to the party, well, we'll pipe up and mention that, you know, if it's kind of obscure or maybe not likely found in this town, Gale would be the person to be able to find it, if he doesn't already have it. So yeah.
Gale was my purveyor of items before I was accepted into the town.
By all means, show me the way.
And so the two of you quickly make your way into the orphanage, and Gale is kind of standing off to the corner, washing. It seems like a series of plates, and there's probably at this point, 20, 25 kids running around,
Dang,
acting a
lot of
fool.
orphans, Boris.
bring some more in here.
Now, while those two are at the orphanage, the rest of you guys can let me know what you guys are doing. Like if you're trying to buy something, then we can point you in the right direction. What are you trying to get, Torin?
Kind of stepping over some of the kids. I'm not sure if it's a mess or not.
You do see Trush like kind of rolling around or very nimbly, I mean, for a huge panda, kind of running around with the kids, and as they drop something, he either like kicks it up and catches it in his hand, or even, if it does make it to the floor, he's quickly over there with a broom and dustpan.
Got a pretty unique staff here, Wub.
They do well by my kids.
But I'll assume that scale,
Yep.
not the panda. Okay.
I would at that point I would just look at Gale and kind of sheepishly, I think we might need to visit the old shop, if you know what I mean. We need a strange item.
And he'll kind of put some of the dishes down and turn around and... Strange. Well... And he's going to glance over at Torin and is like, I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting you yet.
You have. Torn Cooler off.
Ah, that's right. The charming one. So it seems as it's coming through in...
You have met Gale already. I forgot.
It seems you're, that's a word you can use to describe you, I guess. And he's gonna walk over and shake your hand again. And it's like, so what could I do for you both? And he's gonna kind of like start ushering both of you out slowly, and you begin walking northward up the long road. And he begins kind of just asking general questions of what kind of things are you looking for? Is there a time scale or a time frame of which you need it?
Hopefully, I need it now. As for what it is, um, I need a lot of crushed black pearl.
He's gonna kind of look, or squint his eyes a little bit and run his fingers over his bare chin. And
Why don't we just find some black pearls and crush them?
Wub, that's what I was just about to ask. Is do they have to be crushed, or can you do the crushing? Because I don't think I have any powder, but I may have a few pearls. Maybe a part of a necklace.
I guess I could crush them myself. As long as there's...
Hey, Boris, strength check.
I eat
Strength
a lot.
Let's do it.
Fucking ionizes the fucking
already-
powder.
I've already parceled out
Oh, that's not
Atomizes.
this sack right here full of gold. It's 1,000 gold.
I may only have about, and I haven't. It's been a while since I've actually checked my inventory, and he's gonna, as he says that, he'll open the doors to, and you see this newly refurbished, this shop is actually kind of relatively. It seems like it was newer in the town. However, there's now shingles missing. The sign is kind of broken off and hanging from what looks to be a wind damage, and the sign reads Gaelker style, or there should be something else for it. I'll get back to you on the actual name of it. But anyway, it's as you walk in, it's a barber shop on the outside, and or on the main room, and he leads you through to a back room and downstairs into the basement. And as he flips open and ignites a hooded lantern, it illuminates the room, and you see there's a huge stockpile of odd and end items from from your knowledge, every corner of Faerun, maybe even further.
Quite the collection.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been down here, because he points over at Wub. He's been keeping me busy, and he'll go off into a small corner of it and just bring out this large jewelry box from it, and open it up in front of you. And there's a series of different necklaces, all of different shapes, sizes, and metallic makes. And there's several pearl necklaces that he finds, and some of them are white, some of them are more opal. And he does find a single pearl necklace. It's like, this one's kind of old, but I could honestly, with the gestures again at Wub and my friend and family discount, we could possibly do about 200 gold for this. And he's kind of looking at it, and then he'll set it down on the table, turn back around, and look through several other drawers and other boxes. I know I'll be able to get some in, but I don't. Seems to be all I have at the moment. And let me just to be sure. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll take what I can get. 200?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll put down some stacks of gold and take the necklace.
Thank you very much, Gale.
Much appreciated. I'm sure I'll be able to put this to good use.
Well, thank you for the business. I enjoy a little extra more pocket money every now and again. Thank you, Wub. I always enjoy new customers. And if you will, Mr. Kulorov, as same as the last time, just shh. This place isn't here.
Of course. Hush, hush.
We were never here. Don't worry.
You happen to have any health potions?
Ah, I do. Just got a stock in. And he pulls out a large crate, and it's about 18 of them. And they're all standard. So 2d4 plus 4? Yeah.
Okay, nice. How much would it be to buy 4 of them?
200.
200?
Yeah, 50 each. Friend and family, probably about 175.
Let's see. I will go ahead and buy like 6 of them.
All right, so go ahead and add 6 to your inventory and mark off 300 gold. Or, sorry, seeing as that, do 325. No.
250.
250.
Hard.
250, sorry.
250. Remove. Then those were what potions?
Potions of healing, and if I remember right, it's 2d4 plus 4 per one.
Say my goodbyes and start heading back to our agreed meeting spot.
Okay, and what's the rest of you doing in the meantime?
Kira, the first thing she's gonna do is go looking for some scrolls, and then after that she'll look for potions.
It looks to be 2d4 plus 2. Just
Okay,
for
yeah,
everyone's
so
notes.
2d4 plus 2.
But I did find it in the items.
Nice. So add 6 of them to your inventory. Hira,
Thank you, sir.
you can make me an investigation check, seeing as
Oh god.
it's been a while since you've been in town.
Kira has no idea where anything is anymore.
You remember that the Church of the All Faith Shrine has some divine people, as they call themselves, so they may be able to help you out with that point. And Boris, what were you doing, sir?
I was just kind of rifling through things. Looking for anything that might
Where are
seem-
you? You just
I did-
ransacking somebody's house?
Oh, I thought I was
Looking-
with you guys. I'm sorry.
Looking through my inventory, I do notice I do actually have a light crossbow and a chain
What's
shirt to sell as well.
My bad.
Okay,
But
so the chain shirt is a little beaten up since I believe you were wearing it.
Yeah,
Um,
both used, and the chain shirt is heavily used.
So it'd probably run you about 50 silver to get rid of both of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, it's about what I was thinking. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, and go ahead again, Boris. What were you with Torin and Wub, or were you with Hira and Adram and Zuya?
I was with Torn and Wub was what I was planning on doing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know you were coming with us.
Yeah, I was going along, tag along to go shopping.
Oh, okay.
shit,
Boris,
yeah.
you know Boris the strong and silent type. You don't even know he's there half the time.
Yeah, so I guess as Torin and
lurking in the back. You know,
My
being-
bad.
yeah, I get as Torin
Joking
and
was- Who's this guy?
I definitely would have introduced you to Gale when we were at the orphanage. I feel bad now. I didn't realize.
so at this point, we'll say that as Torin and Wub begin to turn around and make their exit, Boris walks in. And he's oh, I finally found you guys, and he's walking into the barber shop as you guys are turning around the back or coming up the stairs, turning around the corner and leaving.
As he sees us coming out of this speakeasy style room, Wub's just gonna freeze because essentially he's broken one of the rules. He's been caught leaving the store and you're not supposed to, so he just freezes and looks right at Gale.
And he comes up the stairs and he's like, "Isn't this another one of your companions?" And he's like, "Did you?"
Yeah.
And he's gonna look past at Boris and "Did you need something, sir?"
Yeah, could I take a look at what you got?
sure. And he brings you back down, he pats you on the head, Wub, and it's like, it's okay. You know, the members of your group, if they can come down. The more customers I get, the better.
Okay.
And and you're looking for that specific item that you messaged me about. Is there anything else?
About just some quality of life things that I was thinking of, like I have like a spyglass. I was thinking, could I get some chains, manacles? Yeah, could use those to.
Okay.
Boris is basically putting together like the equivalent of a D&D, like duct tape, zip tie, plastic bag kind of kit, you know.
So
The murder kit.
Yeah, he's putting together his murder kit. He's getting like.
So if you will, flesh out the list just a little bit, and I'm gonna go to. And is it just Hera, or is it Drom and Zulia with you, or have you two gone off to do something else?
I'm under my goodberry tree, picking good berries.
Yeah.
Waiting for Wub, because I wanted to talk to Wub about something.
And at this point, yeah, there's they're ripe, and so you're gathering probably about 30 to 40 of them. A Drom.
I don't really have anything to spend the money on. I'm pretty set right now.
Okay. Do you need any spell regents?
To meta-wise help out Zuya, I can leave the store also if Torin was going to stay there with Boris.
Okay, I'll be up to and then Hera, as you walk in, you find the two All Faiths priests, basically, and they give you a curt nod and just kind of stand off in their corners, making sure that nothing is really disturbed.
Can I approach them and ask them if they know where I could find some scrolls?
For what purpose? Are you interested in some holy texts? Are you?
I'd like some scrolls of healing.
Well, we do use those whenever there's injured that comes through the town. And with the recent disasters, we've kind of been a little short stock. And he's going to kind of pause for a second and make me a persuasion check. And if you want to say something to persuade. Okay. Looking you up and down, he's going to...
I've been a regular here. He knows me. I haven't been around for a while, though, and I clearly look like I've been through it. So she comes in there, they know her, and she looks like she's been through it since they've last seen her.
Yeah, he'll kind of nod and step away from you and go off into off behind the altar that's sitting there and pull out a small chest and bring out 3 folded pieces of parchment and bring them over and hand them over to you. And
how much would that cost?
Probably about 100 per, because it's a little difficult to make these spells at this moment, this current time, and they do take a steady hand and someone that knows how to scribe a spell. And
she's actually gonna hand over 600 gold, and she'll be like, "Please, for the townspeople who may need your help, I appreciate you giving me these when you don't have that many of them left, and I hope this helps replenish your stock."
A little taken aback, he's gonna take the money and nod and thank you graciously, and take the pouch or the satchel that you from you and set it into one of the offering offering bowls that sits on the altar.
And she'll say her goodbyes and head out looking for potions.
Okay.
Those 3 scrolls of cure wounds.
Do cure or no?
There is no cure wounds.
Yeah, it's no cure wounds. This would be is it or this would be strong or scrolls of strong healing. So this would be 3d4 plus 3 or plus 2. I think it's plus 2.
Are you like cure wounds?
Cure wounds is per your is plus your spell modifier if I remember right. But yeah, basic. It's a little bit stronger than a basic healing potion, and those are 2d4 plus or 2d4 plus 4 or 2. Sorry. So it'd be identical to that, but 1 extra d4. So 3d4 plus 2.
My spell modifier is 4.
Well, that's if you
it's
cast the
spell
spell.
modifier of the spell of the person who made the scroll. Yeah.
Bunch of weak ass bitches.
Well, they're not a level 11 in fucking
I'm-
adventurers. God damn. I'm
kidding.
offended.
I love that everyone's getting all these healing spells.
See, the fact that some, okay, I don't mean to use this term like derogatorily or anything, but the fact that some peasant can cast second level fucking magic, alright, that's already amazing enough.
That is impressive.
I've been
called a
peasant
He's not some super devout cleric that has slayed 1,000 forces. Like,
think of
this is
any
just a
other-
guy that has prayed to God for like 20
I'm
years,
trying to think
and
of
he
any
can
other-
heal.
I'm trying to think of any other scrolls I might want.
I'm looking for some acid vials, some alchemist.
I feel like a peasant won't be able to make a scroll of revivify.
I want some
Mm-mm.
manacles. I want a spyglass.
Okay, so the spyglass,
I feel
the
like a scroll of
manacles.
Revivify would be like a water deep
Scroll of
scroll.
Divine Dynamo was part of my Oath of the Watchers, which I gave up when I
Sorry,
took
You can
sorry
do
to
a
list
large,
off a bunch
large
of
person.
things, but
So the manacles and the spyglass would run you probably about 10 silver, 1 for the or for the spyglass, and then 9 for the manacles themselves. They're decent quality. They seem to be well made and strong, of a good make. The vials of acid, you do find 5 of them.
ooh, I would like those, please.
And they'll be 1 gold each.
Oh, excellent. Perfect. Fine. Do you have any of that alchemist fire?
Hmm?
Do you have any alchemist fire here?
Not that I'm capable of using, no.
Well, maybe just have some oil by the flask.
I've got that. And he's
Oh.
actually got a relatively large, I guess you could call it a tank of it, that has probably about 12 potions worth in it. And that'll run you about...
one Abrams tank full of oil.
Well, I mean, I've got to keep my blades lubricated. And my lanterns lit. And that would probably run you about 5 gold.
I don't need all of it, but I'll just take one. I'll take a fuck it. We'll use it. Drum's got a sack of holding. We can stick them all in there.
What's up?
I'm over here planning to stick things in your bag.
Ooh, woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's this one? All right. 5 more gold for the oils.
Grom's gonna be sitting out on the bench
Excellent.
like a boyfriend waiting for the girlfriend to be done shopping.
God.
He has all these random bags. She's like, "Oh my god, let's
Well, after she
go!"
gets those scrolls, is there any way to get anything that gives fire resistance around here, or is that a little too niche?
The only
I don't
person
know,
that's capable of any kind of arcane writing. We don't have anyone that's so capable of arcane writing. We really don't know where to procure such things.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for your help. Would you be able to point me in the direction of somebody who could sell me some potions?
That's another kind. See, the shop that used to sell them is kind of torn down, and he's going to gesture out the window towards the south, and the familiar building where most of the like traveling parties would stop and get their adventuring gear seems to have been hit severely by a tornado.
Well, thank you anyways. And she'll wave as she exits.
And
Tarnlar's trinkets got destroyed?
yes.
Oh, bullshit. I hate this place.
Yeah, I guess. And when she meets up with everybody, she's gonna be like, "Yeah, I couldn't find any potions or anything like that."
And so,
Lathander will provide.
oh my god, stop it! You're dead.
I have so much healing now, meta-wise, and we're spending
Smitten.
an hour buying healing things.
Smitten. No healing works. You're dead. You don't exist.
There has
Yeah.
no idea what
I know. I'm just
are.
like,
Just walking
Fine.
around town, I guess eventually I would hope to come across Zuya.
Yeah, and so you left. I don't know if Torin followed. Would you have? Okay, so leaving Boris downstairs with Gale, Wub, and Torin make your way back towards the meeting site, and you find Zuya kind of sitting off the side of the awning of the Swinging Sword Inn, and he's kind of like, or you see him kind of counting berries and putting them in his pocket or in one of his satchels on his side. And however, at this and a little further down the way, you see a Drum sitting on a bench in front of the All Faith Shrine with Hira seemingly inside. Because this is happening a little bit before you actually get done with everything, Hira.
Right.
And so you do easily meet up with Zuya.
Nice. Well, hey there, Zuya.
Hey, Wub, there was something I wanted to talk to you about.
Anything.
I noticed you dropped something when we were dealing with Lathander, and it caught my eye, and I wanted to talk to you about it before we got a little busier and our hands full with crazy
You
things.
see that Wub's ears kind of droop down a little bit, as if like sad or ashamed almost. Oh, you saw that.
Well, you did kind of drop it in front of everybody.
It was a very old thing that teacher made me make.
Yeah?
I can't really read it, but... And he pulls it out of his bag to show you. It doesn't really make any sense to me, because that's not the language he taught me, but...
Would you like to know what it says?
And glancing down at it, Zuya, you do recognize the language as Druidic. And if you want, like looking at the iconography of a sprouting tree with some crudely drawn like wild or wild grass growing up underneath it, as well as a name kind of slightly carved over the top. You can make me a nature, either a nature or nature check would be the best. And this one would be at advantage, seeing as you do have you can speak Druidic.
Nice.
So, with kind of investigating it, the name kind of just springs off into the back of your head, and you're able to recognize a name. The cat is just waving. And let
And he
me
just puts up with it.
pull this back up real quick.
That little squish.
Hmm?
I said, look at that little squish.
I know,
Is-
right?
Having the time of his life there.
He puts up with it.
You recognize this writing as being two words, actually, even though it kind of looks as one, and it's the Old Father.
Do you want to know what it says, Wub? Because if you made it for a reason, but do you want to know what it says? I will share
Sure.
it with you if you want. Alright. It says Old Father. And you see these design, well, you made it, so it's definitely very interesting.
I don't really know why, though. He never taught me the language.
Well, we're not supposed to share the language with people that aren't druids. It's a very secret language.
I wonder why he had me make this, then.
It's hard to say.
And with your nature check, you also remember briefly that, this is kind of... You don't... just because I did set the DC a little higher, you remember some other, similar names that go along with this same person, but not exactly, the actual name and who this person is. But you recognize that in some areas they call him the Oak Father. Others they call him the Tree Father. But this is specifically Old Father.
Okay.
And as you guys are kind of looking on this and having this conversation, that's when you see Hira exit the All Faith Shrine and begin making her way with a drum, holding two giant bags to his side. I'm kidding.
Got 3 scrolls. She's carrying them herself.
He's ever the one for the dramatic,
Yeah, well, he's the one who bought that shit then.
But
I just bought bags.
using prestidigitation to make him floof out and make him look full. But yeah,
I'm
so
sure he uses that spell to make a lot of things look big and full.
oh,
No, he just needs a picture of his wife.
Or me.
Whoa.
Anyways,
I hope your wife
Rob's
doesn't
not
listen
even
to these
married.
streams.
I'm getting confused with in-game and out-of-game. The drum's married now, but also knows a guy named Kyle with feet.
But yeah, so all of you reconvene into the right in front of the Swinging Sword Inn, in front of its awning, before you make your way to the front door.
We ready to go, guys?
I believe so. I tried to find anything with fire, that could give us fire resistance, but unfortunately it seems like the store that usually sells those kinds of things was wiped out.
I'm not sure if you told us when you met up with us. I was wrapped up in the other stuff that was happening, but if you told us that you weren't able to find health potions, then I would have told you that Gale has some for sale.
Oh, well then I would have gone there. I might be like, I'll be right back. Wub, You may want to come with me. I don't know that I know Gale all that well.
Oh, that's right. I don't think you have met Gale. All right, not a problem. Easy day.
Poor Wub's running back and forth.
Easy enough, and
As a damn marathon for his size.
as you guys kind of remember that you need something else and make your way from the party, Boris, at this point, as you guys round the corner and get closer to the strangely, Wub leads you to a barber.
But Wub, are you sure you know where we're going?
And
Of course.
as he says that, that's when Boris walks out draped in new manacles and carrying a small chest of
Yuri gives him a strange look.
There's fire. Fire rises. We're gonna burn these cultists out.
Okay.
There's answers that must be good. We'll find them.
and you or Wub leads you past Boris into the barbershop and then down the stairs, and then just for the sake of brevity, you are able to get let's see, Wub, you bought 6, he had 18.
Yes.
Boris didn't buy any, Torin didn't buy any, so that leaves 12 left.
She'll take 3 potions.
Okay, same deal. 2d4 plus 2 for the potions. You get 3 of them for. Since you're with Wub, it'll be 125 for all 3.
If you
How
go
much
to
you said? You said it was 2d4?
Yeah, 2d4.
for the if you just go to manage inventory to add them, you can just type in potion of healing. It's just a standard item.
Yes,
You said it was how much? 125?
for all 3. Yes. Gold.
Yeah, see, that used to hurt us. Now, okay.
Sure. Just buy out the
And,
lot.
does he have anything of that can give fire resistance?
Hell no.
You know, Eric, the dice that was doing me so good for your campaign is now rolling shit. I rolled it all out. So it takes him a few minutes, and he's only able to find one piece of parchment that it does have a arcane incantation on it, and on the back of it, it does have like haphazardly written fire resistance in common.
Seems reliable.
He's like, this is really the only thing that I could find. And half of the incantation is kind of burned away, ironically. But
Well, I know somebody who might be able to figure it out.
well, it's torn and damaged, so here.
How much?
He just hands it over to you. 'Cause I can't sell this. I don't even
Well,
know
thank
why I
you.
had it.
We found out Gaelker's actually just a fucking hoarder.
Yeah!
This is just shit him and his mother have collected over their lives.
Alright. I think that's all then. She'll start heading back to the party.
Okay. So for a final time, Hira meets up with the rest of you that I'm assuming by this time you've kind of made your way back inside the Swinging Sword Inn to, you know, get a little bit of lunch and, relax out of the rain.
Maybe Kalessa can pack us up some food for our journey.
Get some of that salted meat to go, and maybe some.
I have like 40 good berries.
I don't want to eat nothing but berries for our entire journey, but it'll make for a good snack.
Thank you
Good
for the-
berries, treat it like you just had a full meal.
Yeah,
Only one.
one good berry will literally sustain you for 24 hours. And it also heals you to 1 HP, so you can literally take somebody who is like on the verge of death, even 2 death saves, and just boop.
Nice.
My
That'll be
buddy used to
handy.
have a druid that, for some shitty reason, would purposefully wait until a character was on 2 death saves, or very close, and then give him a good berry.
Anytime I think about a good berry, all I think about is Krillin from DBZ. Sensubin!
Honestly,
Well, as much as those good berries can come in handy, I still enjoy a good proper meal every once in a while.
Yeah, Boris is more of a meat and potatoes guy.
well, I have rations for 6 days.
Like I said, a good proper meal is what I enjoy.
He pulls, well, it shows you like 6 like dried granola bars.
I mean, yeah, Boris. I have a ration, and you're just gonna see like Boris pull out like a really salted, gross-looking piece of meat.
It's like a super jerky.
That's been in there for a month.
I'm just picturing because they didn't have dehydrators back then, so it's literally just straight salted meat. Like,
Yeah, just salted meat.
Well, upon request, Kaylessa does make you
Makes
guys
corn away
some
quickly.
rations. And
actual rations, nice.
yeah, so and they're a little different from the rations you have. They're, some cured meats and stuff that won't go bad immediately or for some time. And each of you are like, she kind of rushes in making them, so like, the food is good. However, like the wrapping and putting them together is a little haphazard, and you kind of have to readjust it a little bit so it doesn't spill in your pack. But
I was gonna say Hero would help her.
okay, make me a performance check.
Oh lord,
Hey,
I don't know that Hero's the best cook. Oh,
you are now.
Well, yeah, okay. So
6 inch feet. She's a quick learner.
they look very nice. And
Hero had to fold a lot of napkins back in the day.
oh, that hurts my restaurant soul. But yeah,
Never a napkin again.
very easily able to get some rations for you guys. Some of the potatoes
Hero very clearly still feels bad about tearing up one of the rooms.
and she'll hand them out to you guys and opening them up and kind of inspecting them and refolding them up to put them in your pack. Torin, you have one that is the meat is kind of cut in the shape of a heart.
Oh.
And your shirt that you caught or like you saw her in is sitting on top of your or she hands it over to you as well.
The food is all packaged in swan-shaped packaging.
Oh,
That's
God.
what knows how to do.
That's a little much.
It's the only thing she knows how to fold.
But yeah, so you guys are
Them in there. Just pushed it in my bag.
well. And at this point, it's probably gotten to be close to early, like ending early morning into like midday. And the storm is still blowing overhead. However, the rain has kind of let up just a little bit.
It's about time to get going.
All right. And so, whoever wants to can make me some survival checks to see how, or so you guys can kind of like navigate your way the right way on foot.
Well, was definitely gonna beat this, but I'll roll just cause.
Damn, Adron,
That'd be
he
me.
knows the way.
Hey.
Yeah, while I'm sitting out on the bench, I'm like, yeah, I'm walking this many feet. I'm doing maths in my head.
I might as well.
Me and John are just walking in the right direction. And
It's like
You-
deuces.
You can't just expect the one who like almost always succeeds it to succeed it, because those are the times when you really need it that they fail it.
Right,
I saw it
got
happen.
you.
I saw it happen in our Rune Lords run enough times. Trust me. How many
And
times I would fail a defensive roll, or Badly might roll low on a healing roll. D&D gets you sometimes.
It's always awful. But the group kind of puts their noggins together with a Drum having kind of pre-mapped everything out while he was waiting for Hira. You know that it's probably going to take you about 2 days to walk there, maybe a little bit longer with it being kind of heavy rain, that is, if the weather holds. But traveling or getting on your way, you get to, let me move you back to the other map. So you guys can see the text where it says Feathergale, right?
Yeah.
So the hex right above it. So you guys get into the Drum. You're just gonna teleport there.
Yep.
We'll say you made it to here, with the hill that you guys are kind of cresting around. You stop, like, it gets to the moon's starting to come up, and you guys make it through the valley up the slight incline, and you begin going around the the large dune, and you start beginning, or as the moonlight coming down, and the sky is kind of cleared up at this point. However, the wind is still blowing kind of, or a little heavily. And with the moonlight, you're able to see the path kind of veer off towards the southeast, leading seemingly over to Feathergale Spire. And looking out over the hills above the dunes in the moonlight, the Feathergale is giving a little bit, or seems a little bit more ominous than it did before. What in the daylight, whenever you guys went back the last time, it had a very shiny sheen to it. The marble would kind of reflect in the sunlight, and now with it being over or slightly overcast and the moonlight just beaming through, that bright marble almost looks black and still reflective. It kind of looks like an addition to the night sky.
Well, I can take first watch.
Creepy. Go for it.
Don't trust that place.
All right.
I'm
So
more than happy to get my 40 winks.
I can watch in the morning after I get my sleep.
all right. So we have first and
Well,
third watch.
Early morning, whatever.
I'll watch.
I can take the most watch because of my schedule. So
Yeah, I
whatever
think
you
we have
need to
enough
do.
that we could stagger. So there'd be like two
Yeah.
people, basically, like at all
Yeah,
times.
unless somebody like desperately needs their long rest, in which case don't worry about taking watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think we're all good. All of our.
Sick.
I only
Sick.
need my 4. So
Yeah.
All right. So
Easy day.
we'll say Hira gets the first 2.5 hours before Zuya kind of gets up and takes over a good portion, and then when the moon is getting into its last little bit of decline before just the small reddening of the horizon comes up, is when Wub takes over. If I can get first Hira perception check. All right.
Oops. She's a little distracted. Tadriel won't stop talking to her.
Yeah. And
The Drum's gonna give her, when it's time for her sleep, he's gonna give her that potion thing that I got from Kalessa for the dreams.
okay.
Get you the exact name.
At some point during her watch, Hira wants to reach out to Tadriel again to see if she can get another glimpse.
Okay. Wisdom save at wisdom save at disadvantage. and we'll say this is towards the end. So as you're kind of zoning out here, that's when Zulia wakes up. And if you'll give me a perception, Zulia. And this time here, as you're trying to reach through, you feel almost a barrier come through, and stop you.
She knows.
But you still get a slight glimpse of roaring magma and lava kind of bubbling and boiling underneath. Or you don't see it, but you hear it. And then that's when you kind of get stopped and pushed away.
Well, at the very least, that gives me hope that if she can put up a wall, maybe so can I.
Zulia, with your perception, you notice some of the nocturnal birds fly through the air since the wind is starting to let up. You notice a small, grassy or moist grass smell breezing through the wind as the wind shifts directions, and once was like coming south over the hills is now moving more southeast, kind of in that general direction. And nothing really happens. It's relatively silent, other than, the occasional sound of animals throughout the woods, the light crackle of fire. And that's when Wub, if I can get yours.
All right. I was gonna ask, because we're in the mountainous area, would my natural explorer apply to this?
Is that your
It's one of my feats from a class feature, I believe. Yeah, that's from Ranger.
Okay.
I think if I do this, yeah, it's a lot to read. I know, but
Difficult
I wish I didn't link
terrain,
literally
mountain.
everything. But it is pretty nice that it does.
So, particularly familiar, choose, right, and you chose mountain and forest.
Mountain, forest, and swamp.
All right, your proficiency bonus is doubled the skill that you're using in traveling for 1 hour in your favorite terrain to get the follow. Okay, so yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, that would take effect. So you would be able to roll your perception at advantage as well as add double your proficiency.
There was a way on here for me to just like click something and it would actually do that. I just
Well, what's your proficiency
blankly cannot
modifier?
remember how. Proficiency is 4, so it would be plus another 4 to my perception.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a plus 11 instead of plus 7. I was just saying, just for in general and the other stuff that it would do, there's something I could click that would literally just give me the benefit of Natural Explorer for all of the bonuses, and I thought it was pretty nifty. I don't know, I'll have to look it up. But...
Okay, so plus another 4 would be 19.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, the night goes very uneventfully.
I set up with Wub talking more about the coin
Okay.
thing.
Let's see. All right. So yeah, very simple. All of you awake in the morning. After a very easy sleep, you awake to Zulia and Wub kind of conversing, and working together. In about an hour or so, you break down camp and ready for the new day. Although you're a little sore from having to sleep on the ground again. and you keep making your way to the Feathergale Spire. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Leaning heavily on my cane.
Boris is kind of hanging back, and I'm gonna talk with Torn. I'm like, Torn, I don't really like this. Didn't trust
Oh, I
him.
remember.
Do you maybe? I don't know. I don't think they want to listen to me. Maybe say something.
About you not liking
I
the
can't hear
Feathergill Knights?
you mumbling.
Trust. I don't. Oh, I'm sorry, Kaylee. Well, anyway, this is between everyone. Well, Torn. Yes. Exactly. I don't trust the Feathergale.
Well,
I didn't trust him before. I don't trust it now. I think we're walking into a trap.
all we've been doing.
Yeah.
I was just about to say.
We're doing pretty good at it, but I understand. I remember last time.
I'm not much of a gambling man, but if I was, I would wager a large sum of my gold on this is a trap and that we are. Remember that one guy there that got kind of sassy towards us? I might take his head tonight if he does it again.
For fuck's sake, Boris, you were aggressive from the beginning. Why wouldn't he be sassy with you?
Because
I'm in the same boat.
I didn't trust him. I didn't trust him from the get-go, though. So
I
that's
don't
why.
think. I'm assuming we can all hear this now.
I'm pretty sure when I tried to roll an insight on that guy way back when, I rolled like a nat 1 or something like that. So here, completely trust these people.
I don't
Yeah.
think we trust any
You
of
did.
them. But
Here it is.
they can give us
Or else you,
hippogriffs or griffins and help us on our way.
You're holding
Plus-
a pretty normal viewpoint.
If we go there and things are okay, I will hold my tongue. I won't say anything, cause any troubles.
I'm not going there saying let's go give them hugs, but they lent us hippogriffs before, and that quickness in travel
What if
allowed us
we're
to.
in here and we don't have the hippogriffs and they don't have the hippogriffs? And what if we owe them money for it?
I have money. It's not a problem.
I know we've got money, but like,
Well,
If-
if you didn't want to come here, you should have said something before we left Red Large.
No, listen.
We're already here.
We've been a month. We've
it
been
was
a
fine
month.
coming here, but I'm just
It's
saying.
it's been a month since we've been in this area. This is the
Maybe
closest
they
place to
forgot
where
us.
the closest place to where we were. It makes sense, even if we think they're bad, to check in, because the last time we were with them, they were okay with us being there.
No, I
So
feel like
it's
regardless
good
of
to-
what happens, yeah, like whether this goes good or bad or mediocre, we're gonna learn more than we would have if we hadn't come here.
Okay. My only concern is what if we're walking in and letting them know that we're back?
Yeah, well, I feel like that's Cat's kind of already in the bag, and she taps her head.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Forgot about her. Your tag
Yeah,
on.
well, I never forget about her. She doesn't let me.
Hard not to, I guess, in that situation.
Until shit hits the fan, we'll remain cautiously optimistic. But then, as soon as it does, Boris,
Take some heads.
feel free.
Be on my best behavior until the moment strikes.
We
In
need
that
a we
moment,
need we
we'll
need a
be-
code word for when it's time to start murdering.
Boris now.
It's Boris time.
That's so close
What
to
about
copyright.
telling Zuya to shapeshift into a bear or an elemental
me-
or something?
Just scream shatter at me.
What if we shouted, SPD, emergency?
Boris, you look thirsty.
I am.
So,
It's go time! I can keep doing shitty cliche anime all day. Oh
Oh
shit, what was the Voltron one? Oh shit. Was it just Form Up? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I think that was frickin' Captain Planet.
Yeah.
the two twins that can change shape.
Oh, jeez.
All right. So, with your favorite terrain, with if I can get survival checks for my 2-minute point, which is Zuya and Wub, yours will be at advantage plus double your proficient or proficient. And that'll determine how quickly you're moving through. And Boris,
Wish I
we'll
could
say
find that double
because
proficiency
you're
button.
towards the back with Torin, if you want to make a survival check as well, you can, but it would be at disadvantage because your conversation is...
Sorry, I didn't roll at disadvantage, but that is a pretty shitty roll anyway.
18 and 21.
Let's see.
Zuya and me both got 21. Nice.
Yeah. So you guys are able to make it quickly through. The way Drom had mapped it out, you probably would have been there a little afternoon through your plan of travel, or maybe even towards nighttime. But with the two of you helming it and kind of showing the right path, you make it there almost right at noon. The sun is overhead, and with it still being slightly overcast, and at this point, being so high up in the mountains and right in front of this ravine, the wind is blistering, moving very quickly. And as you guys approach and crest over the hill leading to the spire, if I can get you guys to make perception checks, all of you.
Aye, Capitan. Don't expect nothing good. Yeah.
Way to call
Well,
it.
you called it.
Plus the extra 4, dirty 20.
All right, so Torin is
Cry my eyes out.
yeah, Torin is trying to get used to this new cane he's trying to put too much weight on. And not really paying
Shut up, my
attention.
drops.
And the rest of you, as you crest this hill, the first thing that stands out to you is that the drawbridge that was previously closed, with someone standing on the other side of it to kind of give the signal to drop it, it's standing wide open, and there is no one there.
Alright, you were right, Boris. This is sus.
And Boris and Zuya, with your perception, you kind of look up the tower into some of the windows, and Boris, with you previously being here, you remember that there was always torchlight inside, and at this point there is nothing. Although it is daytime, so it may be a little difficult. You get the feeling that it's maybe a little difficult to see light coming from the windows.
So essentially, for all intents and purposes, this bitch looks abandoned.
I'm alluding to it. Don't spoil it.
That's why I'm just sitting here like a little crush, just god fucking damn it.
That's
I want to try and
this is ours.
I want to try and give a whistle for the hippogriffs, but we should probably check it out first.
Yeah, we should actually.
This is why I was against having us split up. This is just like that water place we went to.
This is a trap.
I did miss one key part. You said there were no guards. Is the main gate that's normally like barred shut or whatever, is that just open? Like just chilling?
He said.
So
Oh,
the drawbridge.
Yeah, that's huge.
Well, here's the thing: is the drawbridge is open. However, the two heavy iron doors that stand in front are closed.
Okay, that's still close. That's what I was. Okay.
Portcullises.
Yeah.
Yes, portcullis. Thank you.
I couldn't remember the word for it either.
But Boris would notice, with his amazing perception, that as a strong gust of wind comes through the area and kind of threatens to push Wub off the edge a little bit, he kind of stumbles on his feet, just because you're so light, man. That heavy iron door just swings ever so slightly as a draft kind of gets into the room, and
That's ominous.
So it's not barred shut either. It just happens to be shut.
Well, I don't know if we want to try and check for traps.
Well, this is a fun field trip, fam. Let's go back
You're
home.
looking right at it.
Guys, one way or another, we're gonna have to address the earth
Nope.
or the air cold.
Our friends aren't here. We gotta go. Let's leave. Go home.
Here's gonna start
Game's
walking
over.
forward.
Take it easy, Bubba. We'll be
Oh
fine.
my guys!
No hippogriffs means no Ironford. Guess
Wait a
we gotta go home. It's a
Wait a
darn
minute.
shame. Let's go take care of my kids.
What you got, Boris?
The wind call, fucking feather gale.
I mentioned that the first time we came to Feathergale.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Feathergale Spire.
Now it's sinking in.
That-
All right, let's go in here. Let's go in here
That
and
was
kill it.
100% obvious before. We always thought these
It's
guys
okay.
were sus.
Force wasn't.
I
there.
didn't trust them to begin with, but I never put together the they gave us.
That gale was a wind force. Air
No,
cold.
they gave us. Yeah, I didn't think they were the wind call. I thought they were just some nice, crazy.
Another word for hurricane winds or tornado winds is gale force winds.
Yeah, we 100% thought these guys could be the air cult, but we
We
wanted
had an
to
entire
prove it.
conversation about how these guys could potentially
perfectly
be the
been
air
managing
call.
our
We did
perceptions.
have-
like
we
in
did have a
character, while we didn't distrust them, we couldn't just like, hey, you guys are definitely the fucking air cult. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they've been super helpful and super trustful so far. So
Yeah, so we were just taking them. Worst case scenario, they're bad guys. We have free hippogriffs.
yeah.
The bottom
We-
line,
we had-
Boris
we
had
had
good
the-
instincts.
Yeah,
all
we had
wrong.
that.
I
We
didn't-
had that
I didn't
whole
trust
thing
them
at
all.
the top of the spire
Yeah.
with the guy being mad creepy.
But
We
now
would
the
not
problem
have-
Right.
is
That's and yeah.
No,
Let's
see,
go-
what
now,
I was
after all
going to
that,
say is the
back
problem
in-
now is now we still don't trust them, still don't definitively have anything to challenge them on, but we also don't have hippogriffs. So
While you
Yeah.
guys are having this discussion, here has made her way inside.
so it does take you a second to like kind of push in or push the door in with the wind pushing against you, but you are able to make your way into the spire, and you are standing in front of the entrance. You remember the last time you were here, the
Suits of armor.
suits of armor, and they are still there. The doorway standing in front of you, you remember, leads to a stairwell that both goes up and down. The door to the south of you, at least from this vantage point, leads to kind of like a makeshift like workshop sort of thing. You guys stand in this darkened room with the light coming in from behind you in the door. You don't hear anything.
Alright. Well, I don't know if we want to cover every room, make our way up, or just go directly up. What do you guys think?
It'd be good to check everything, just to cover our bases.
I think a good clean sweep. Sorry, Will wouldn't know that tactical stuff. I think checking everything would be wisest.
And
We don't
if
want
we're
anything to
if
jump
we're
up behind us
confronted,
and scare us.
yeah, if we're confronted, we can just say that we noticed that everything was open. We were checking on people that we've talked to before. Let's not automatically jump to attacking everybody, but just be ready in case. And Wumpa, try to stay close to me. It's for a reason.
With Hira taking point into the southern room, the workshop that you remember being shown has been essentially picked clean. There's no armor laying out on the floor. The tools that have been picked up and been, put or seemingly taken. And there's a few like blanks of what would be blades. Had the work continued on them, but they're just laying on the northeastern wall on the table as you enter in.
Can I make any kind of check to see if there's any hints to where everybody's gone?
At this point, there's not much of an inclination of where people went. With the there's not really much of a dust trail, basically.
Shall we go up then?
Yes, we shall.
All right,
Oh,
so
looks like there's more doors.
And remember, if it's anything like that water place, there could be some hidden rooms and such.
and you remember once again that the stairwell, like as you walk into this room and you round the corner to the stairwell, there's areas going down, and then there's also the place that you actually went up. And just for the sake of brevity, glancing into the open or the door, which is most of the doors are swinging open at this point. Once you're past the original or the front door, the door to the north, you glance in, and it was the kitchen, and it's empty.
Is there any indication of how long any food has been sitting out?
It'd be an investigation.
Oh, Lord.
And
Somebody who's more intelligent than I may want to help.
Oh,
I'll be
Oh, never
following
mind.
along.
I'm a genius.
Ooh, that's as high as my passive investigation.
I just bonked the wall.
I will help investigate. Oof, awesome.
Boris
But
walks in the window
I
and goes, oh,
I
shit,
got
I
a
thought it
BRB
was
real quick.
okay. So
Ooh,
he's probably got the stream going, so I'll narrate whenever he comes back. But when Wub walks in, he finds a few cured meat scraps on the table, and he just kind of swiftly pockets them real quick. And make the rest of you investigating the rest of the room. Basically, the pantry has been picked clean. There's a few barrels of going or ale that is starting to stale. And all of you from basic kind of, just asking around in taverns in your travel, you know that ale typically lasts for several months. But
Well,
only
the
about like
last time
6 months at the most.
The last time we were here was, what, a month and a half ago?
You've been gone for a month.
Been gone for a month,
And then you've been traveling around for for a grand total of, at this point, the last
Probably
time you
couple
went
months.
at the point of being at Feathergale in terms of the calendar, you had been gone for almost 6 months.
Oh, damn.
Let's say
So right after we left, it seems to be when this place was abandoned. If the food is to tell us.
Do I see anything special with the Nat 20?
You see you hear everyone's heartbeats.
Alright, I guess we move up the stairs.
Did you look through this door?
Scared him off.
Yeah, that's the garden again.
Mm-hmm. And in that door, there's quite a number of plants that have just withered and died away from lack of watering and lack of care. What used to look...
Zuya sheds a tear.
Oh. All right.
Too bad Nimbus isn't here. I'm sure Nimbus would have, made some water.
Wasted it all over it?
Shaking himself like a dog all over it.
That's rude.
Alright, up or down?
Well, last time the big baddie was up top where all the crows or whatever those big bird things were.
Up it is.
Okay.
we don't know it's down though. How do you
Well,
know?
we could, yeah, if it's anything like the water thing, going down is going to lead to a 70-mile long tunnel.
Considering it's the air cult, I'm gonna take a gander that up is the way to go.
Sounds reasonable enough.
Like, I feel like we would just be like opening doors. Be like, anything in here? Nope. And keep
Basically.
moving.
Yeah, and if you
I'm
guys,
walking through like
for the
abandoned.
sake of brevity, you guys can make me some general investigation checks to see if you find anything.
Oh, fuck. Tatriel's talking to Hira again.
Oh no.
You quietly hear her mutter to herself, "Shut up."
Boris just doesn't trust this place enough.
So
Boris walks into another wall.
So this area being relatively new to you, Zuya, you're taking a good look at everything, and each door that you're walking through or opening up just seems to or lead to a set of corridor or quarters. 2 beds, 2 desks, and 2 chests line all of these walls in different fashion, different setups. And most of the beds seem to be like hurriedly left. The chests are wide open. The desks have all the drawers kind of pulled out. And looking around behind the large counter that sits in the center of the main room, with the
That's
different,
where like the register guy was.
right, and he is no longer there, as well as most of the ledgers that your friends mentioned that were there are no longer
Most,
there.
but not all.
And Zuya, you are able to find a single drawer that has a book in it. However, upon opening it up and looking into it, it seems like it's been sitting in this position for so long that the ink has kind of bled through some of the pages. Really, the only thing that you're able to get out of it is a single word and a single letter, because half the book is empty, the other half has some, like I said, the bleeding through writing. And the word you're able to get is howling. The letter is T.
All right.
What does howling
Does
mean?
howling tea mean anything to anybody?
Well, the name of the air cult is like howling winds. Cult of the howling winds.
If you want to remember this would be a general intelligence check, because you guys have,
That's
And
what it means to me. At
did
least
you-
I hear howling and I'm thinking of the freaking air cult.
Didn't you just say it though, Torin?
It's alliterative hatred.
Yeah, so no check needed. Yeah, Torin has it covered for you.
What was it?
Howling hatred.
Howling hatred.
And if I was to make a guess at the T, I would imagine it would be our bald, strange-eyed friend,
Thorl.
Thurl Maraska.
Wonderful. All right, Boris. I think I owe you some money.
Let's keep moving.
I don't actually remember if he was bald, but I know he had weird eyes.
Yeah, he did.
If he wasn't bald before, I'll take his head. I'll take that clean off.
You're
My
gonna
haircut.
scalp him?
Well,
So-
no, just take the top of his dome off.
Huh.
It's not what he's
Cranioscopy.
thinking. Yeah. Let's see why this guy thought he could get away with this.
He seemed like a real genuine guy to me.
Listen, he could have been killed and he's shoved down in the basement. Let's just keep moving and exploring before we get in trouble sitting
He
in
was
one
just, he
spot.
was just very charismatic.
I'm trying to group you guys together, so
So that you
All,
can-
all this is conjecture. We need to find out answers.
So moving up to the 3rd level, you open each of the doors, and once again, it's just a mass of corridors. And these have a very similar hurriedly moved through fashion. And relative or even more picked clean than the floors beneath it. However, they do seem a little bit nicer than the ones down below. If you had to take a guess, these would be some higher ups quarters.
Yep.
Get it? Because it's higher in the tower.
Oh, let's keep going.
And as you guys move your way back into the stairwell once again, and make your way up, as you round the first loop of stairs, you start hearing the howl of wind coming up of the top of the tower, and that's when you exit the stairs yet again, up into the sunlight above you, with very high strength winds moving kind of north east over the tower, and at certain points it feels like it, seeing as you're so high up in the air, it kind of twists and turns around you up at the top of this, and it's still grassy above this, and it doesn't look like there's anyone here.
Here's gonna give a sharp whistle. She knows it probably won't work, but
Animal handling.
poop crap.
Nothing. From what you gather.
Anyone else want to give it a shot?
Want to. It's my friend.
I
Bill.
will.
Come back.
So the lot of you begin kind of
face!
begin shouting at this pinnacle as loud as you can, and it almost seems like the howling of the wind brushing by or flying by at a high rate of speed almost like suffocates the sound. There is no echo up here. Even the sharp whistle kind of just dissipates underneath the sound of the wind.
Well, I suppose it's leg day, friends. Back downstairs we go. Can we see anything from up here before we go?
Yeah, you basically see the entire top of the Dasarian Hills, the Sumbering Hills.
Does anything look strange?
Yeah, there's a giant compass off to the side here.
Oh, fuck!
See it hovering there?
Yeah, it's
We
just
see
floating.
Iron Bird.
Where do you see Ironbird at?
I said, can we?
Oh, yeah. No.
Too far.
I guess let us keep exploring then.
Well, I'd like to see if there's anything strange that I can see from the top of this tower first.
Go ahead and make me a perception.
Oh, Lord. Woo!
Nice.
It's just right then that Tadriel starts singing at the top of her lungs.
Yeah, almost afraid as if she couldn't hear, or you can't hear her over the sound of the wind. She's making sure you can hear her.
Oh, fuck.
You brace yourself on me as I'm trying to look around.
What
I
the
see
hell?
nothing.
Hey,
Why are
it's-
y'all
Zuya.
rolling like shit?
Hey, man, it actually works
wind.
perfectly for the theme. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it does.
I would suggest that we move off this
Well, yeah,
potential,
but maybe
potential air cold precipice.
maybe Boris
especially
or
if people don't
Wub
have
can see
wings.
something.
I
They seem to be pretty perceptive normally.
yeah.
Oh my god.
The
Wub
wind
is
howling in his ears hurts.
yeah, Wub, with your large ears, it hurts, and seeing as you're really small, you're like, there's these 4 stone obelisks that kind of stand up and make a cross section of wind, and so as you're coming up the stairs, you're being blown all over the frickin' place, and you end up having to like push up against one of these stone walls to kind of keep from flying away.
Somebody grab Wub!
Boris is the only bold enough one probably to go to the edge of this whole thing. That's why he can see stuff.
He's
and-
weighed down so heavily with plate, this wind can't possibly knock him off.
And with his very thick visor of a helmet, and Boris, glancing around, you are seeing a new side of the Dasarian Valley and the Sumbering hills that you haven't seen before. You're glazing or viewing over the hilltops and seeing the rolling hills off in the distance. You're able to see, small, clumps of different towns and the road veering off in different ways. You're able to see a large valley that cuts through these hills that a river is running through. And it seems like there's some, look at what what was at one point a massive mudslide that was black, or you were with them for this, weren't you?
I believe so.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you remember where you saw, or where the mudslide happened and where you guys kind of,
Yeah.
and actually,
That's where you met Murderface. We went down into the valley.
My boy.
Yeah.
and
Or
you,
starts sobbing.
and you are able to see the cave that you saw, or that you found him in, kind of way down into the valley.
Maybe Murderface is there.
He's
And-
back home.
At this point, Hira, I would like you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh God. Tadriel tells you to jump. There we go. Good job, Hira.
So you kind of you're able to feel the pressure in the back of your mind, as just a single phrase whispers through to you, and as you're looking down over the massive destruction of the Dasarian Valley and the landslide that you helped clean up a little bit, or at least redirect, Tadriel chuckles and asks you, "Do you remember?" And then you're able to kind of shut her off real quick.
Remember what?
There is no answer.
Can I try and remember?
That would be an intelligence check, sure, or a history check. Sorry.
Come on! Don't fail me now!
Wow.
Crying and shitting right now.
Yeah. So you guys are kind of just standing up at the pinnacle of this area.
I just want to see what it would have been if I did intelligence.
Oh my God, Kaylee.
I'm literally crying.
Wow, 2 nat ones in a
Hero has
row.
Zero recollection of
Gotta love
even
it.
being in this place. She doesn't even remember coming here.
I'll handle that after the session.
I feel like that's a 1 in a million chance for that to happen.
Yeah. But so you guys remember that there's only one other place that you haven't investigated.
Basement.
I was gonna suggest we go there next. Like I said, leg day.
All right. So let me group you guys up. Ah. Do I have everyone?
Miss Torin! Bye, Torin!
I'm missing.
Were you not in the group?
No,
He
I'm
was?
here.
Yeah, he was.
I'm like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone.
He just got left behind.
I
Where'd
get
you?
the whole, I get the whole Finnegan Spire to myself.
There he is.
Horan starts his own wizard school.
Yeah, with all that
Torin,
money
your
you gave me,
Good
I
place
can.
for it.
Woof.
Okay, so making your way slowly down the now four flights of stairs, you enter into what can only be best described as the stables down in the basement of the spire. There's several closed doors that ring around the room, but the smell in here is very familiar. It seems to be the stables. And in one, or as you're kind of, looking around the room, anybody kind of that wants to look in some of the boxes, the barrels that are around, as well as throughout into some of the rooms, please make me investigation.
Nice.
Here seems to recover from her momentary lapse of stupidity.
Okay. So it would be Hira and Boris and Zuya that make note of a slight shuffling sound, metallic in nature, coming from a single room off to the northwest. So this one here that I'm pinging. However, all the other rooms seem, you can't really see into them because these doors are all closed and sealed. And you could, if you want, you can take time to open them all up, but they don't have any necessary sound coming from them. However, the stench of animals wafts out through all of them.
They killed our hippogriff.
And here, as you approach this door and or attempt to open it, it is locked.
Wub? You think you could get this thing open?
I actually just remembered I do believe my lockpick broke last time I tried to use it, and I did not buy a new one.
Oh, brute force it is, and she's gonna lift up her new halberd.
I was gonna say, could we just like retcon that I bought one from Gale? Because I totally forgot. I just looked through my inventory and I don't see. It's like, oh shit, it broke last time.
So I'll say that, kind of rummaging through with your investigation, you are, you just realize that all these doors are locked and you're rummaging through and you find some items through here that you could pretty easily use as lockpicks.
Fair enough. Okay.
So it's a dexterity plus your proficiency mod.
Okay.
Or we could do this the not so quiet.
I just click dexterity.
Oh my god, let him give it a shot.
It'll be 11 plus my proficiency, 15.
All right.
Great, but...
So Hira steps out of the way, gesturing towards the door, and Wub, wedges these kind of crude-looking or metal pieces that he bends into the right shapes to make a lockpick. And for a few moments, you're fiddling around with the tumblers, and after a few moments, you hear a click, and you're able to turn the lock. But as you do, the lock in the door, just the lock itself, begins to hum and brighten, and it goes brighter and brighter. And that's where we're going to pick up next session.
Strap.
Interesting.
Okay.
What could that be?
Nothing good.
See, after going through the ranger spells more, while I do like it, because I've already used it a couple of times, this find traps, I wish it was more of a concentration, if that would make sense. Just the fact that it, because in certain dungeons, take this type of place, if I were to use it now, it would literally only work on this exterior room. If we went into one of these rooms that these doors lead to, I would literally have to recast find traps to try to find traps in that room.
That's dumb.
Well,
It's
that's
weird.
Yeah,
it's very limited to what you can see at that instant that you cast it.
because there's a feat called Dungeon Delver, which we all have. We keep forgetting about. So that would allow us to have investigation perception advantage for secret doors and traps and stuff.
Oh, kicks with the big brains. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, we should be rolling that.
Well, I
Always
was just
forgetting
because if it was more of like a concentration type thing for the find trap spell, it would be super beneficial
like a
for
detect
ranger,
magic type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could just kind of leave it on for even 10
Yes,
minutes, you know what I mean? Walking through a dungeon for 10 minutes, you can still spot a good bit of traps.
Well, friends, it's a little bit past bedtime, but I was hoping maybe next week we could try and get in a little earlier to talk about the get together, like a little more in person, if possible. Since not everybody is actively on typing in Discord.
It's for me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
works for me.
reminder, I won't be here Saturday. I don't know if you decided whether to play or not still. But
Oh,
yeah.
probably not.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's alright. No big deal.
Well,
Good night,
No big
guys.
deal.
It was a
Good
fun
good night.
session.
Good
I
night,
didn't know
everyone,
that
and
was even a thing.
y'all have a
Thank you.
wonderful end